Hello, everyone. It is Monday, the 17th of June, 2024, and there's a lot of current events that I would love to talk about. I'm just going to turn up my volume. I forgot that I had it off. Not off, but I had it quite low, listening to videos early in the morning because I get up early. I get up ridiculously early. I don't know why I do, but yeah, always around 4:30 Eastern Standard Time from where I'm located. I'm usually up by then. Anyway, yeah, I could talk a lot about current events, international, but I will refrain this morning. I did cover updates 2 days ago on that, and so I do want to focus on the debate or the lack thereof regarding Austin Witsit, who is amazing. I actually had another comment on YouTube with people asking me or saying that they asking me if I ever did a discussion with Austin, and they said if not, they would love to see it. And yeah, so people have said it to me in the past as well, and that's another reason why I would love to have a discussion with Austin, because he's very smart, and I would like to just bounce some ideas off of him or some theories that I have, and discussions on possibly reassessing even current laws of physics or laws of nature that are floating around now, which I believe to be misinterpretations of the actual science and the cosmos. Anyway, it was on the quartering. A bunch of people have already live streamed this and or have done their own take on this in the last couple of days. I know. I haven't seen any of it because I've been busy. And so I'm going to be watching this fresh with everyone. And yeah. So far, the comments, well, I mean, if this actually loads, so far the comments are saying, exactly what I would expect with Professor Dave, who's not a real professor, is that he was rude, hard to listen to, condescending, doesn't know his own model, let alone the flat earth model, despite him being, part of the YouTube industry, I guess we would call it, for a number of years. And still, like, he doesn't understand either model. It's yeah, so people find that painful to watch because, again, this guy is very rude and egotistical, and there's no warrant for it. It's so frustrating. I would love to debate Professor Dave as well. My most recent YouTube account was deleted on me. It was again, Canadian censorship too is probably to count for that. But so yeah, any comments or any critiques I had or any opportunities I put out there on multiple different Globe Earth channels to debate me because they're trolling flat earthers, I don't have that anymore. I don't have the history. I don't have the names. I don't have the yeah. And so I had to refollow channels again, ones that I remember that I was following that had good content, and so that's also like a bit of a painful.
What is going on, everybody?
Anyways, reloading season.
Jeremy here.
So
from the quartering here to
yeah, let's see. I won't spoil it.
Discuss.
I don't know this guy. I don't know the channel. This is the first I hear and see of it. But this is where Austin and Professor Dave, who's not a real professor, this is where they debated on this platform.
Some flat Earth stuff. I accidentally I accidentally ended. I accidentally ended the other stream, so hopefully they'll come in. Sorry, Dave and Austin, come on in to. I sent a new link to you guys. Hold on a second. They should be. I'm sure they'll figure it out momentarily. So, I will now debate myself. No, they'll. There we go. Okay, sorry. All right. So Davis found his way back. I sent the link. I assume he saw it too. I accidentally ended the stream earlier. So we're gonna talk about flat Earth today, a topic that I knew nothing about until today, and now I know more than I ever wanted to know about it. I will let people know that,
Oh,
you know, I don't have strong
okay. So right from the start, like if someone is just hearing about this today, holy shit, that's going to be hosting this on their channel is what I mean. You know what? It could possibly be a good thing because there are some channels out there that it's absolutely controlled opposition or just ridiculous, and algorithms are shifted to make it where videos that can make us look ridiculous are again put at the top, and anything that makes sense usually gets filtered to the bottom or censored or removed completely. Yeah.
opinions about it. It's interesting to me. I have my oh, there we go. There's Austin. Sorry guys. So I'm just gonna, so the way we're gonna do this is both gentlemen have asked so they can have like kind of 7-minute run uninterrupted where they can talk, which I'm gonna allow. I guess we'll start with Dave since he was the first one in here, and then Austin. 7 minutes. Then I'll come back in and we'll kind of freeform it. I've got a big list of topics that I sent to both guys. Seems like both of them have addressed these things many times. But the purpose of this, for me, is to be, I'm sure for these two gentlemen, perhaps different than me, but my biggest goal is for it to be entertaining and to be educational and fun. And I'm sure these guys will be very nice and polite and well-mannered because they just look like two very kind gentlemen. So I'm going to bring them in, and then we'll start with first Dave. You may know him as Professor Dave Explains. He's linked. All of his channels are linked. He's on YouTube. He should also be on Rumble because, you know, reasons. Dave, welcome. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks for being here. And then we've got Austin. You might know him as Witsit on Twitter. He's got a YouTube channel. I assume, I don't know, you should have a Rumble channel too, but their YouTube channels are both linked in the description below. I recommend you hear them both out. And I guess we're going to talk about flat Earth, and we're going to start the clock at the 7-minute mark for Dave.
He's like totally hypes up this guy's channel, but not Austin Witsit. Witsit gets it. So I will most definitely at some point be linking Austin's work, and yeah, you'll see that this guy's a genius, and anything that you're going to get, even one of his videos, just blows every single video this guy's ever done out of the water because this guy's a pseudoscientist.
If you're ready.
Sure. Yeah. Just
yeah.
Okay. I shouldn't be biased right from the get-go. I'll leave you make your own decisions if you haven't heard of this guy before. I'll just leave it at that.
Here, how do
that on the bottom?
Oh, share screen, right?
Yep. If I can actually drop out too if we need more room on the screen, you know. Yep, there's that.
Can we see the slides?
Yep,
you got it all?
Yep.
Okay.
So
ready?
I'm gonna shut up. I mean, I'll keep it to. So I got 4:37 now on my clock. So at
cool.
Well, just flip to 4:38. So go ahead.
Okay. So we're here to talk about flat Earth versus globe Earth. Austin is going to pretend to defend the flat Earth. He will do so with two tactics, which I will undermine right now. First, he will pretend that the default position is that it's just totally flat. Just observe and see how flat it is. So the burden of proof is on the globies to prove it is a globe.
He's regurgitating his videos. And what he's doing is he's just making fun right from the get-go. So he's not even talking about any globe Earth science, facts, evidence, nothing at all. Starts with the insults.
No, that's false. All of observations since antiquity have only made sense on a spherical Earth.
It wasn't fair for me to critique Professor Dave before this. It's just that I've known of him for years now. This is what he does, and so like now you're already seeing it. It's not like, and if you look at the comments, I'm just gonna leave it at that. It speaks for himself. It speaks for itself.
Moon, stars only makes sense on a sphere. That's how we've known the Earth is a sphere for 2,500 years. Furthermore, if you deny a globe, most things don't make any sense. Day, night, seasons, weather, tides, Coriolis. Geological phenomena like volcanoes, earthquakes, technology, communications, simple things like line of sight increasing with altitude, terrestrial motion, gravity. None of it makes sense if you deny that the Earth is a globe. Speaking of gravity in particular, I know that Austin will be very eager to talk about his electric gravity bullshit. Here are some reasons why that is stupid. He cannot derive 9.81 meters per second squared. He cannot explain why this value is based on Earth's mass. He cannot explain why G varies precisely with Earth's radius and your altitude. Despite electromagnetism being both attractive and repulsive, he cannot make anything significantly massive fall up. And no, his little middle school science project with a piece of styrofoam doesn't count. He cannot explain why there's no discrepancy in the motion of objects with differing properties, paramagnetic, diamagnetic, ferromagnetic. Cannot explain why there's no difference in activity over differing substances of different conductivities, grass, sand, water, concrete. He cannot explain why
literally just reading off of like a note page. Like, this is so painful to watch, but anyway.
things
And
fall
all
to
of this, if you look at my videos on this and countless others, like easily either debunked or easily like explained on either model or on both models. And yeah, so he's actually just embarrassing himself to actual scientists.
same rate regardless of
his
elevation.
gravity,
His
like I
electrostatic
discussed that
field
as well.
dissipates with elevation until it disappears, yet things still fall. So, Austin, this is the default position. This is the position that correlates with all observations and every nook and cranny of our knowledge about the physical world.
Look at the
If you would
oh
like
my
to make
God.
the case for the contrary,
And look
feel
at the one that he's showing as well, where like the other remaining continents would not possibly fit on the other side of this globe. So with this one continent, two continents, like ridiculous to actually. Anyways, this is CGI, and that's been admitted. I'm gonna try to refrain from talking more just because this is already a long video.
feel free to do so and make sure to bring quantitative predictions. The second tactic he will use is because he knows the flat Earth is so unbelievably indefensible, he will try to obfuscate by turning it into a discussion of geocentrism versus heliocentrism. He does this because he relies on using word salad about esoteric topics in modern physics, like relativity and certain experiments from the 19th and 20th centuries. Unfortunately, though, for him, geocentrism utilizes a spherical Earth. That's right, the Ptolemaic geocentric model that was used from antiquity until Copernicus uses a spherical Earth. So if he would like to change the topic of the debate completely from flat Earth versus round Earth to geocentrism versus heliocentrism, I'm willing to entertain that if he first admits that the Earth is a sphere. And he has to mean it. If he is unable to make that concession, I will continually...
It is... Like, this is painful to watch like already, but this is an electromagnetic reality that's being projected on a flat plane of inertia via light in motion through sound, and the sun and the moon, some kind of sonoluminescence being what creates those luminaries, and then cymatics, all of these things. So via hyperboloids and toroidal fields that make up like these electromagnetic fields that contain this environment or this cosmos, which makes it also possible that is a pressurized gaseous environment that's contained, right? Just like propane tanks, and you need to have that container in order to hold that gas in, or it explodes violently. It equalizes into the environment. Anyways, in multiple different directions, by the way. And so when he's talking about gravity with this downward acceleration that he talks about at 9.81 meters per second squared, this has already repeatedly been debunked as well. And this is where I talk about the gravitational forces versus the radiating forces, and it's largely like impacted by, again, electricity and magnetism, or both of them working synergistically together. And the centripetal versus centrifugal forces, again, with the sun and the moon, hot fusion, cold fusion, whatever it is, degassed elements. Anyways, I can go on all these tangents, but and so this contained environment, these hyperboloids and toroidal fields that that you can see, like Ken Wheeler, for example, like when he shows magnetism, he doesn't have it 100% correct, but again, this guy's a genius. He has great work, and his videos are second to none when it comes to magnetism. But I mean, there's also ones on levity discs and the John Searle energy devices and things like that. But anyway, when he shows look what the fields look like for magnets, right? Like these they do create some kind of a it's not a sphere. but it's anyway, it's hard to explain. And the more fields you have, the more it can look like some kind of a circular, like a circular, in a two-dimensional perspective, or a spherical in a multi-dimensional reality. And but being projected on a flat plane of inertia, right? And so we experience this cosmos in varying densities and pressures and temperatures, but where we are experiencing life right now on Earth, as humans, we can only experience it as we are now, like in the middle, the flat plane of inertia. That is the center point, I guess. Hard way to explain it, but of these fields. Anyway, I'm gonna let him keep talking, but Professor Dave has no idea what he's talking about.
Drag him back to very simple, naked eye observations and basic logic that prove the Earth is a sphere without any understanding of physics whatsoever. Number one, the observations of the stars. In the northern hemisphere, the stars rotate counterclockwise. In the southern hemisphere, they rotate clockwise. This makes absolutely no sense on the pizza land. Why would the sky be rotating in opposite directions, just depending on where you're standing? Also, why can't we all see the same stars? If you have a line of sight to a star, you should be able to see it. Both of these make perfect sense on a rotating sphere. You have two celestial poles, and the Earth is rotating, and then we can't see through the Earth. That's why you can't see certain stars. So in the north, can't see Southern Cross. In the south, can't see Polaris. Speaking of the Southern Cross, in order to get the pizza land, he has to take the point that is the South Pole and unwrap it to get the perimeter of the pizza. And that results in total absurdities like these three people all looking at the Southern Cross at the same time, despite looking at completely different directions. That makes no sense at all. Again, on a sphere makes perfect sense where south actually means something, and they're all looking at the South Pole. Number two, day and night and regions of illumination. This is very bad for the Flurfies because in the winter months, they need to take the sun all the way out to the periphery of the disk, and that would result in most of the pizza being dark everywhere most of the time. Of course, in reality, the opposite is true. The edge of Antarctica in these winter months is illuminated almost all the time. So how does the light get all the way over there? And then you don't even have to go all the way to Antarctica. You can go to Ushuaia, which is at the tip of South America, where people live, and that must be illuminated around 70% of the trajectory, while places like Point Barrow, Alaska, experience 24-hour night. In order to try to explain this, they have to make light do things that it doesn't do, and in fact, flat earthers do not ever try to explain this at all. It gets even worse if you go all the way to the South Pole. There is a 24-hour sun there, which completely obliterates the flat Earth, as flat earthers themselves admit. And that is why a rich person lately has been offering fully paid trips to the South Pole so that flat earthers can see the 24-hour sun, and they are all busy crapping their pants trying to make excuses to not go.
That's total, like, we want to go. I can even show like the messages that people are having on Telegram that want to go. And have videos on going. And Professor Dave, let's see if you would go.
Once again, on a globe Earth, this makes perfect sense. Day is when you're facing the sun. Night is when you're facing away. Pretty simple. Number three, Southern Hemisphere causes trouble. For years, flat earthers have been pretending.
Day is when you're facing the sun. Night is when you're not, right? So like even during broad daylight, if I'm facing the sun, it's broad daylight. But if I turn away from the sun, night. Like, no, I gotta stop because this is already over 2 hours long.
That there are no direct flights in the Southern Hemisphere. This is wrong. There are many. Sydney to Santiago is one of them. And this goes both ways, nonstop, in both directions over the Pacific Ocean. And then we have the Antarctica Cup Ocean Race, which is a boat race that circumnavigates Antarctica. They go all the way around every year. And neither of these things make an ounce of sense on a flat Earth. You would have to have for the flight, the Sydney to Santiago takes this incredibly enormous arced path instead of going the straight line path, and neither of which could be done in 12 hours anyway. And then the boat race would have to go around the entire world, always steering away from Antarctica instead of towards it, which it doesn't do. So all of these observations are very extremely basic, intuitive ways to prove that the Earth isn't flat. Okay, these all obliterate the flat Earth. They prove without a doubt that the Earth is a sphere. Every single one of them does this. Austin is unable to discuss any of these topics. He has no ability to explain any of these observations on a flat Earth, and so he will desperately try to pivot and turn this into a debate about geocentrism.
It would be nice. I will try to stop, but it would be nice if any one of these guys would actually take a look at what we're looking at and sharing, and actually like go even on Austin's videos that he shares. Like if he would just take a look at a couple of them, then yeah, he'd be able to steelman these arguments at the very least. And again, they just don't do that. It's years of them just coming up with ways to just insult people, and they don't actually look at any science. He hasn't updated any of it. He's been reading off of his notes and like that he's had, and scripts that he's had, and from videos that he's done, and had actually he's even admitted that he gets help and funds and he gets people to make the videos for him. And so he doesn't even make these videos. He pays people to make them for him and do his notes. He's admitted this. I've shared that as well.
Versus heliocentrism. Unfortunately, that's not the topic of the debate. If he wants to have that debate, that's totally fine. He must simply concede this debate that we're having now, admit that the Earth is a sphere, and then we can talk about that completely separate other topic about whether the spherical Earth moves or not. All yours, Austin.
Perfect. Hey, let me perhaps I should have
And there's a difference between a sphere.
Austin, I'll give you an extra 60 seconds if that's okay with you, Dave, to define what flat Earth even is, or just because not everybody in my audience knows.
Okay. I mean, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. But,
you think so? Should we just go right to the 7?
That the Earth is flat. That's
okay. Just so everyone knows, but also that the Earth is at the center of the universe too, right? Is that one of those two things combined?
I mean, yeah, there is no universe if there's right. Okay, it doesn't matter. Go ahead. Whatever.
Okay, well, no, that's fine. We'll just go right to the Dave's. Or I'm sorry.
Whoa, wait, what happened?
He just left.
He left?
Well, he might have just. Maybe he'll come back. He might have clicked a button.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe he accidentally closed the window.
He might have closed the window. Yeah, he might have been trying to add something.
He probably tried to switch tabs to go to a.
Yeah. All right. There he is.
Something.
All right. I'll. There you go. There you go. No, you're good. I was like, debate over? What? Okay. I'll shut up and then. So at 4:46, you have your 7.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't really make a PowerPoint, but I'll just use the classic one here if you can pop it up on screen for me. So yeah, it's our position is that the Earth is a geocentric stationary plane. This feeble attempt to separate the conversations is disingenuous. That the Earth is stationary, it's in the center of the universe. None of the kinematics or dynamics, even of geocentrism, is exclusive to sphericity. That is just a get out of jail card because
the center of the universe or cosmos. And what he means by center, it's hard to explain, but like the flat plane of inertia where we're experiencing life, where we can exist, at this within this position in order to again experience this cosmos. Light in motion via sound. Sonoluminescence absolutely being a huge contributor of how we're experiencing this Earth plane, and so that's what they mean. So when people talk about universe now, there people are expanding it so much more beyond not only Earth and these like what they're calling other planets, what their luminaries, and then these other I guess I don't even know what you would call them, like luminaries, but they're like using cymatics. It looks like in order for them to function, and when you actually zoom in on them. And so, and then they're looking at the universe as something that's beyond this contained environment and expanding outwards where there's multiple other cosmoses. And that could very well be the case. Like what I'm saying is having a multiple cosmoses beyond this cosmos, obviously. Some type of a being created this cosmos. That's clear to me. This is some kind of a divine clock. I've talked about this in countless videos, showed the astrological wheel and how that's connected as well, and the sun and the other luminaries path through the zodiacal belt. And so clearly this is some kind of an advanced creation done by something that transcends this cosmos that's created. And so anything that's beyond this, we just don't know, we don't understand. Just like I've said this before, a dot on a piece of paper, like a one-dimensional entity, I guess, is not experiencing this cosmos as much as even a two-dimensional object, like a line, or like even like a circle and like a drawing of and even that, a line doesn't experience life like a three-dimensional being, like a table, or a four-dimensional being like a human, or another species. I think we're a higher level dimension than that, but we are at least four-dimensional, and the other living species on Earth as well are at least four-dimensional, the ones that experience time. And what I mean by that is, I mean that they grow and or age. And then I'm talking about, anyway, I'll stop talking about this stuff, but because again, it's a very long video, but there was some major points I wanted to talk about. Anyway.
He will not be able to defend the claim that we're moving around the sun. To very quickly go through some of this, falsification is independent of replacement. And so what always happens is people don't defend the globe. They just want to ask millions of questions to the flat earthers. And somehow if a flat earther doesn't know the answer, then all of a sudden the globe model becomes true. And then of course the burden of proof is the one making the positive claim. And then shifting the burden is making the other person prove why your claim isn't true. So if I read a book and say all these fairy tales exist, I don't have to prove that unicorns don't exist. Very simple concept that gets overlooked consistently in this debate. Oftentimes we get what's called a straw man fallacy. People say that this is what flat earth is, and they point and laugh, and no one that I know thinks that it's a flat disk in a solar system. That's ridiculous. Hopefully we can prevent these, but these are the typical fallacies used. Of course, a straw man fallacy, which we just discussed, ad hom, attacking the person instead of the argument, credentials. Oh, you're not qualified to talk about this. Appeal to what everyone else thinks, appeal to authority, poisoning the well, begging the question, shifting the burden of proof. These are always used. Everyone was taught the Earth's a globe when they were young. That doesn't mean it's true. So let's just quickly go through the basic claims here. Claim one is that the Earth's a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles. The second claim is that the Earth is spinning, tilted, wobbling, revolving around the sun, shooting through the galaxy. That's then shooting through space. That is a positive claim. And then the third one is that the Earth is in the vacuum of space. The heliocentric model has the burden of proof for these claims. Mm-hmm. So attempting to remove the burden and pretend that it's just automatically granted to you at the beginning is not how logic works whatsoever. And then one would say, wait, isn't saying the Earth is flat a positive claim? It is, of course. And so then we would have the burden of proof, and we have fulfilled that, right? Actually, this right here is a specular reflection. Any convexity or concavity of the water, if it was curving, you wouldn't be able to get a specular reflection because it will cause what's called a diffused reflection. If we move on here, we have actually verified the Earth is flat in many ways. Radio waves can be sent over 10,000 miles. Amateur records show that they're sent thousands of miles at all frequencies far beyond the geometric limitation of the globe. Here we have a distant mountains observed from 167 miles away at less than 1,000 feet. So the target hidden height should be almost or over 11,000 feet, but the mountain's only 12,000 feet. We should only be seeing roughly 1,000 feet of the mountain. Clearly, that's not the case. Here we have another one, 168 miles. Target hidden height is almost 12,000 feet, and the elevation is entirely 12,000 feet. So we should not see the entire mountain. This is a major problem because you're going to have a problem trying to invoke refraction here, and hopefully you do. This used to be the world record longest distance line of sight. Of course, that means you're a direct line of sight to what you're observing. The world record for the longest photo. Here we have a target hidden height of 16,000 feet, and the top of the tallest mountain is 12,000 feet, which means that the mountain should have been thousands of feet below the curvature. Here's another one, 271 miles. Again, the entire mountain should have been obstructed by over 3,000 extra feet. Here's another one, 250 miles. You get the idea. Over and over, the mountain should be obstructed, except for just roughly 800 feet here. Here's another one, 241 miles. The entire mountain, almost the entire mountain should be hidden. And then it goes on and on and on. Here is a very important observation everyone ducks away from. If you look in the top left here, you see you can't see the mountains. These are called Canigou Mountains. You cannot see the mountains. So when people say, can you see, will you be able to see forever if the Earth was flat? That's a ridiculous straw man. Even within a globe paradigm, you'd have to admit you can't see forever because of something called attenuation. The light gets absorbed into the medium. We cannot see the mountains until the sun gets behind it. Due to the intensity of the light from the sun, you now get a silhouette, and we can see the Canigou Mountains. These should have been completely obstructed. You can buy a plane ticket right now for 2 specific days of the year, and you'll know that you'll see the mountains because of a silhouette based on where the sun sets So I guess refraction is just colluding with the calendar and with the atmosphere to make the Earth look flat over and over. Of course, as a silhouette, refraction affects light, not the absence of light. Here to address his straw man about the geocentrism thing, these are projected onto a plane. These are literally azimuthal projections. So to say that...
So this is what I was talking about when I was saying, like, the only way that he could possibly kind of say that this is some kind of a sphere, but again, he's saying that it's disingenuous as well, right? Because like when we describe the like the looking downward possibly at the Earth, when you were looking at the model, whether it be a globular model or a flat Earth model, when we talk about the like circles are what are talked about in so many ancient texts and petroglyphs and hieroglyphs and explanations of circles and circular paths, specifically that the luminaries take, you know, especially these 7 original wandering stars is what they call it, forming those circular paths, which create the sine wave amplitude versus, you know, distance or time, degrees. Yeah, and which only can be done if they are the ones that are doing a circular path. And so even a half sphere can have a 2-dimensional base if you split a ball, for example, looking downwards at it, or if you're going to like draw it, if you're going to look at the base of it, it would be 2-dimensional. So would a globe, so would a plate, like a circular base, so would a cone, so would a cylinder. And so anyway, and so when he says things like that, you know, and describes the electrical magnetic fields that make that shape, that contains this environment, this pressurized gaseous environment, then yeah, anyway. And these are the paths that the like various luminaries take. And even the Farmer's Almanac, which has been out for many, many years, predicts the path every single year of the 7 original wandering stars, whatever you want to call them. They call them planets. I don't. It's predictable, and even people like Copernicus and other people. So he doesn't even know the theories that are suggested, even by like the geniuses that like created the globe Earth model and figured it out. They are also the ones that said that it's that the sun is stationary and that we can't predict the paths of any of the other luminaries or stars, and that is absolutely false. And they even show a time lapse with Polaris in the center, or just above the North Pole, or the center above this Earth plane, this cosmos, and then the luminaries, all of them doing what we'd call a counterclockwise rotation, traveling from east to west of like a near perfect, like all like doing their own circular paths. And I'm sure he's going to share this as well. And anyway, we continue to debunk their pseudoscientists, like who they refer to, and we continue to debunk their very basic misunderstandings of people like Eudoxus and Hypatia and Theodosius and countless others throughout time, and they still don't listen.
It requires sphericity is ridiculous. Here we see that all the paths of the planets fit right within a ferrocell magnet torus field. Okay, what a coincidence. And to address this misnomer that sunsets are impossible on a flat Earth and they just go behind the curve of the Earth, that is also not true. Here we see the sun disappearing above the horizon with a horizontal line blocking the bottom of it far above the horizon. This is proof that the sun can disappear up above the horizon due to atmospheric conditions. Of course, we have tons of assumptions when it comes to the military that the Earth is flat. Specular reflection, again, I'm going to kind of speed through these, but specular reflection, you see that just a small concavity or convexity in the water actually causes what's called a diffused reflection. You'll see here in the left. So you actually need a flat surface to have a specular reflection. We see these over long distances consistently. Yeah. So we'll just skip over here. So, and then of course, the globe claims that the horizon is a physical, tangible surface, and it is not. It's literally a horizon that is apparent. That's why it is where the sky appears to meet the ground. So here we can get into some of the specifics here. But of course, also on a globe, the horizon should drop down and away from you as you increase altitude. What we see in reality is it rises with us.
And look at the localized hotspots as well, and the crepuscular rays. And so like he throws out all these terms that he doesn't even know what he's talking about, and even Coriolis effect, which was on a silly list. With the speed of the Earth and stuff like that, it's been repeatedly debunked, bro. Even NASA, like I'm given the archives of even like multiple like military and scientific documents outlining the fact that it's a flat, stationary Earth, and the Michelson Morley experiments. They're just oh my god. Anyway,
which is a major problem. So long story short, the entire globe model depends on the accuracy of the claimed radius value. And if that radius value is wrong, the entire model is wrong. So in closing, what I'm going to say is, again, falsification is independent of replacement. The literal default position is that the Earth is a stationary plane. The globe says, well, yeah, but it's so big it looks flat, and it's so big that based on the angular rate of motion, you can't tell that it's moving. Could that be true in theory? Sure, but that is a concession that the default position, based on empirical evidence and observation, is that the Earth is a stationary topographical plane, hence why we utilize it as such for all military technology, etc. Therefore, to make a claim that everything is antithetical to that, you objectively and logically have the burden of proof. And then we'll get into a lot of the things that he mischaracterized my arguments regarding throughout the debate, hopefully. But yep, there you go.
Okay, thank you for the opener. I want to give you both. What do you think? Like, I assume there's one or two things that both of you have said or that strongly disagree with. Other. Do you want me to open it up to just give you both a 5-minute period for rebuttal?
No,
or you just want to leave it open?
We can dig into it.
Okay. Why don't what was the first particular topic maybe that Dave you want to poke around?
Well, Austin is denying this idea. He's insisting that the default position is the flat plane, empirically, observably, everything observable. Okay, so explain the observations from antiquity that I told you. How are you getting the sky to rotate in opposite directions depending on where you're standing? Let's start with there. How observable is that? How does that fit?
Yeah, this is what always happens. Instead of providing evidence that the surface is curving, you're saying, well, but if it's not, then how does this happen?
No curved surface. You said the default position, flat plane. I'm asking you on your flat plane, explain the observations of the celestial sphere. In the north, you get counterclockwise rotation. In the south, you get clockwise rotation. Explain that to me on your default flat plane. Explain it.
Yeah, so the counterclockwise and clockwise direction is super simple. It's based on looking different directions. Your better question is, why does it go around a singular point, is what you're trying to say?
No. I'm asking about the direction.
Just looking opposite directions would make them go the opposite directions. They all go east to west.
If you put a clock on your ceiling, which way can you face to make the hands go counterclockwise? Tell me which way you can face.
Not analogous. The stars drop.
It is though, because the hands on a clock.
You don't get it,
right?
You don't get it. The stars drop due to perspective, so we're actually looking out towards them, not directly up.
Which depends on your latitude, right? Depends on your latitude. If you're at the equator, they're going from horizon to horizon.
Wait, do you agree that if I was looking out and something was spinning one way and then I looked at it from the other direction, it'd look like it was spinning the opposite way?
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. Okay, that's why I said, you just said, if I put a clock on the ceiling, right, which way, I'm asking you, which way you just said, if something is spinning one way and you look a different way, it'll spin another way. So I'm asking you, put a clock on the ceiling, which way can you face?
There's so much. Austin's going to explain other things, but the one thing I do like about, you don't even necessarily need a clock on a ceiling, but I've discussed as well. So imagine there was the number 6, okay, like a spiral number 6, and you drew it on the ceiling, and then you had people that were directly below it, like at a table, and so the person, they're all going to see it differently based on where they're sitting at the table. And so we repeatedly say that this is some kind of a contained environment, that the sun and these luminaries are closer and smaller than what we're being led to believe, and repeatedly showing proof of this. And again, so he's not even understanding that model. And then so depending on the flight path essentially of the luminaries, but of the sun, if you want to discuss the sun, I've talked about the sun so many friggin' times, and it's traveling 15 degrees or approximately 1,000 miles per hour through the zodiacal belt every single day, and then through every single fucking year as well. And so 30 degrees every 2 hours through the zodiacal belt, and between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. through Aries, traveling from east to west, and then when it gets to its highest point, especially when it's traveling through the equatorial ring, circular path above us, right? And when it does, anyway, I should show a graph. Or the diagram. Actually, I showed it on my map model, but if you take a look at the Gleason model, you'll see, or actually even globe models, and the analemma that's formed by the sun as it travels through these tropics and the equatorial ring, you can see that again. It would even like it only travels 23.4 degrees north and south latitude of the equatorial ring, and that's when it's traveling through the Tropic of Cancer, a smaller ring closer to the north or the center of the Earth, and the Tropic of Capricorn being a larger ring that it travels, and where it does travel faster again, and then that is to make up for the fact that this is that during a daily basis and an annual basis, whatever you want to call it, there's a 24-hour clock that it creates, right? And so like it's the sun rises, they say rises in the east, sets in the west, travels from east to west. That's again, this is based on what we're fucking looking at, and yeah, there's just so much nonsense. And so he just needs to understand our model, because that doesn't make sense on his model, where the sun is way larger and it's stationary, not moving, and we're the ones that are spinning and rotating and revolving around the universe. And that makes absolutely no fucking sense when again you see like the localized hotspots, and then when you see that just like a small shift, right, from going from 0 degrees to 23.4 degrees, that the people in the north are experiencing summer months, and the North Pole, they're experiencing 24-hour day. And then the opposite happens when it's 23.4 degrees south latitude, and when the southern regions are experiencing their summer, and possible areas in Antarctica, if the sun is actually close enough, right, especially in South America, like it does seem like Antarctica, like there is a connection there and those islands, and we are lied to about what Greenland looks like on Google Earth and these other map images. And so who's to say that we're not also being lied to about what certain areas look like, and if there's actually snow in areas that are very close to areas. And so maybe they're taking people to areas that they think are Antarctica, but they're not. And yeah, and then pretending that you see the sun, and so this is an impossibility if this was anyway. There's all this nonsensical stuff. But I was even talking to Jaren about this, and because he's a friggin' genius. But I was just saying about things too, and he knows this, but he's a smart guy, so there's nothing that they can do that's going to be very obviously like where he's going to be duped, right? Like that's not going to happen at all. So even if people try to, like with the cloud coverage or any kind of other nonsense with trying to dupe him, like he's a smart guy, and he would be the one, and people like Austin figuring it out, and then he would be able to let us know, and then there'd be more questions. Okay, so why would they waste all this time trying to get them to go to these certain regions and prove a point that was either unprovable because of varying circumstances, or blatantly lied about and made obvious, trying to push in a false script. Anyway,
That'll make the hands appear to go counterclockwise.
You obviously don't comprehend what I'm saying,
I think
Dave, but
you don't understand what I'm saying.
do you agree
Easy
that
to understand.
things will appear to drop due to perspective?
Why are you talking about perspective? I'm talking
Because
about
you
look
don't
up
understand
inside.
it. So
No, you're trying to obfuscate.
no, I'm not. If the stars are above me
Let me help
on
you.
a plane and
me
I
help
look
you
out, they're going to look like they're dropping down, which
Look
means
at
I'm
this, buddy.
looking out at. You don't even understand basic stuff, dude.
Look at this. Hang on. Where's the camera? Which way is this turning? Which way is this going, buddy? Which way is this going?
okay, I'll show you.
I don't know. Which
do you
way
mean?
is it going?
Yeah, which way is it turning?
Who cares?
do you mean, who
What is
cares?
why
me-
are you obfuscating away
Is it
from
going
what I'm saying?
counterclockwise? No, I'm talking about exactly what I'm talking about. Is this going clockwise or counterclockwise? Come on, just give me the answer, buddy. You can see it.
To be
You see
fair,
it.
the webcam is mirrored, so it might be.
Oh, it is?
I think so. So
No,
Well, I don't
I-
know, and I don't see what's
No,
the
I
relevance.
So I'm going to show the Gleason map just to show you the what I'm talking about, just because I don't like not having my own visuals. I've shared this a bunch of times as well, but this is just a good representation. Again, like I'm not fully committed to this model, but this to me is a good way to show you at least like what the sun's travel path is. Smaller, more local within this contained environment, and you can even see it like how it's marked. And again, even look on Google Earth, and Tropic of Cancer, 23.4 degrees north latitude of the equatorial ring that it travels, and it travels this ring when there's equal amount of day and night in the what we call the northern and southern hemispheres, right? So when it's spring and autumn, that's when the south, what we're like the continents or the land masses that are south and north again have equal amount of day and night. I already said that, and yeah, and so when it travels the Tropic of Cancer, that's when it is. That is when people within the area here that are closest to the center of the Earth, again looking down on it as we perceive it, and yeah, so when it's closer to us, and it's 23.4 degrees north. And so this is measurable, right? So it's approximately 1,690 miles, right? Every 50, like, so 15 degrees when you look at like a compass or a clock or anything like that, with degrees in it, like you can, like it's these are distances as well. I don't know if people actually realize that. And so like 1,000 miles is approximately 15 degrees. And so this is less than 30 degrees, so it would be less than 2,000 miles again. So like even if you want to just do basic math, like it's approximately 1,600, whatever you want to call it, miles distance that the sun travels, or like appears to travel above us. And so there's such a huge temperature change and season change with such a small shift, right? And so I just factor that in, and so that's when the sun is traveling furthest away from the southern regions, and when they experience more darkness in the Antarctic regions. Some people believe that this is the perimeter. I don't necessarily believe that. First of all, I haven't been, so I can't even confirm. But I've seen videos and footage and pictures and live feeds, and anyways, a lot of stuff out there. But yeah, when the sun is traveling the Tropic of Capricorn, this circle, it could be it's when we experience our winter months. It's when it's furthest south of the equatorial ring, 23.4 degrees as well. And so when it's traveling that ring, it's also closer to some areas possibly of where what we're calling Antarctica could be. And so this is what I was talking about, even in South America here. And by the way, that was that NASA image of the globe, showing like the two continents. It was showing North America and South America. And so every other friggin' region they're claiming, which includes Antarctica, by the way, they don't see it as a ring, would be on the other side, right? Which and we're seeing 50% of the Earth during that image. Anyway, so it could be areas that are close to Cape Horn, close enough where you could possibly see it when it's at its furthest south of the equatorial ring. And yeah, how does that make sense on your model, Professor Dave? No, I'm rambling. This is gonna take forever. Yeah, I don't know what his point is. Oh, and so God damn it! And so I'm going to show it again, because this is just to show you, like, depending on where you are on this Earth plane, you're going to see things like a little bit differently. I already talked about the number 6 example, but for example, this is the tropic. This blue ring here is the Tropic of Capricorn ring. So like you're going to see the sun differently depending on where you are. If you're here or if you're here, you're going to see the sun differently if you're here as opposed to here. And when it's at the Tropic of Cancer ring here, you're going to see, you're going to be looking at it from different perspectives depending on where you are in the goddamn world. Like I like, oh my God, this guy is like painful to watch sometimes. I shouldn't say that, but Jesus. Anyway. And we repeatedly explain this, like, and they just in one ear, out the other. Nothing retained.
And on a flat Earth, it doesn't, which is why you're rambling about perspective and all these other things.
No, there was no rambling. You incessantly interrupted me explaining it because you can't actually allow me to
change the subject.
Okay, let me ask.
I'm not.
Let me try this. If this is okay. Can we start with? Because you guys are both super familiar with this. Let me toss out. So people can dip a toe. one of the biggest conversations that goes back and forth, both of you talked about this in your videos, is in a flat earth. Dave's video points out that there are some issues where, for example, the sun is coming around, right? And we know, because we live here, that one area of the world is in perpetual light, the other is in perpetual dark. This would be non-congruent with a flat earth. So what is the flat earth position? Am I describing that fairly, Dave? I'm oversimplifying.
Sure. The flat earth cannot explain the region. That was my second point, that it cannot explain the regions.
That's what I was trying to remember. Yeah. Okay. So what
The
is
regions of what?
The regions of illumination, the parts of the earth that are day or night at any given time.
Yeah, but I know you know the answer. So I've heard the answer given to you.
The viewers
No,
don't
but Dave
know.
knows the answer. So
There's 10,000 people
something
watching.
called
The answer is that if you're facing the sun, it's day, and if you're not, it's night. That's the answer.
Dude, I'm gonna enlighten you, bro. If you don't allow the other person's point to be made, you didn't win anything. No matter how much coping's going on in the chat.
For you to make a point. Go ahead.
Okay, it's called the coffee cup caustic. It's a literal physical effect that can be replicated. The light will actually bend around the rim of any type of containment. It can literally be demonstrated and shown to perfectly replicate the seasons, the perfect light distribution on a plane Earth. You're objectively wrong. You've had this presented to you, and now you're back here in front of people pretending you don't know what it is.
Who has presented this to me?
Dave Weiss did. I watched it.
No, Weiss floundered like a buffoon. That's why you guys all call him controlled opposition now. If you could demonstrate this, you'd all have videos demonstrating
coffee.
This.
There are
the
literally
model.
hundreds of them.
No.
Coffee cup
I'm not
caustic.
talking about, oh, shine it and, ooh, it kind of does a thing, sort of. I'm talking about show the precise regions of day and night over several month period.
I just
have it
did.
exactly precisely aligned with where
It's literally been done multiple times,
Okay,
Dave.
well,
Sounds like an empty claim to me because I've never seen it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you have.
So okay, hold on. So Austin, give him a second to explain his side. So you're saying the what most people see is that the daylight is predictable.
So I'm gonna. This is gonna take forever, but I just want to be thorough because I also like to explain things if I'm gonna say something. I've shared this so many times over the years, but you're looking at this as like as east, west, south, north. This being the astrological wheel, but also the path that the luminaries take, especially the sun and the moon, throughout the day and throughout the seasons. And this is, again, it's predictable. It happens every single year, which is why people always know their sun sign, their rising sign, their moon sign, their time of birth. Yeah. And so this is 6 a.m. and the sun travels 15 degrees every hour, approximately 1,000 miles. And so that equates to approximately 24,901 miles that it travels per day above us within this contained environment. And so from 6 to 8 a.m., it actually travels through the constellation. It appears to travel through the constellation of Aries on the zodiacal belt. And then from 8 to 10 through Taurus, 10 to 12 through Gemini, 12 being when, especially when it's traveling the equatorial ring. And we have equal amount of day and night. This is when the sun appears to be like the highest in the sky during this period during the day, and then it's actually at its highest point in the sky on the 21st of June in a leap year, 22nd of June during a non-leap year, and it appears at the highest point for 3 days. And then from its highest point, 23.4 degrees north latitude on the 24th of June or the 25th of June, depending on if it's a leap year or a non-leap year, it starts its descent from the highest point as well, right? So this is daily that I'm talking about, but there's also an annual path that the sun takes every single year. Anyways, and then from 12 to 2 Cancer, and it's within Cancer that, again, where the sun is at its highest point. And but anyway. And then so you go through 4 to 6 p.m. is when the sun enters Libra. And that's also when the sun sets during the day, or appears to set, especially again when it's the sun is traveling on its equatorial ring is what I'm talking about. And again, it depends on where you are in the world. If you're in the north or the south, you're not going to, especially the extreme north and south, you're not going to see like the same things that the people in the north and south and regions of the earth would see, because people in the north get the 24-hour sun and the 24-hour darkness, and vice versa in the areas again that the sun doesn't radiate towards. And anyway, from 6 to 8 8 to 10, sorry, anyways, 12 a.m. is when the sun enters Capricorn. These are also the cardinal signs: Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. And yeah, so this happens every single day. And then from 12 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, and this happens every single day. And depending on where the sun is traveling, whether it be the Tropic of Cancer or equatorial ring or the Tropic of Capricorn, we're going to experience seasons and days differently. And then the months are dictated by the moon. Anyway, so this is why there's like a huge connection between the constellations, the zodiacal belt, and so many different advanced civilizations and ancient civilizations, and even current civilizations that discuss this. Like there's always this representation of the sun and its path through the zodiacal belt, the 12 zodiacal signs. Some people say there's 13, which is people who count Ophiuchus, because the sun does touch the tip of Ophiuchus when he's technically in, I want to say, Sagittarius. During the like the 21st, 22nd November period for like a week or two, and that's when JFK was assassinated, the 22nd of November. And anyways, when the sun was entering into Ophiuchus. Anyway, all these random things I'm talking about, but Horus and Dionysus and Apollo and Jesus and Mithras and Krishna and so many countless beings throughout history. These are representations of the sun and its path through this zodiacal belt. Within this divine clock creation that some being or entity or entities created, and that it's being experienced through our mind, I guess, which is our connection to this cosmos, right? Like I believe that's possibly some kind of video game or simulation, like I've also talked about for years. And there could be higher level beings or energy sources, whatever you want to call them, that are playing characters. And these avatars are how we're experiencing this video game. But just like Super Mario Bros, like we're playing the Super Mario game, we choose characters in the game, and then when we're finished playing the game, or we're sick of it, or the character dies, we get on with our lives, right? And we pay our taxes, and we go to the gym, and all that stuff. Again, I keep on saying I'm not going to ramble, and I do.
Daylight, nightlight is predictable based on what is believed that the orbit, the current belief about the Earth's orbit. In a flat Earth, the rotation, in the flat Earth, just let them finish. Dave, you get 2 minutes. Can you describe?
Me? What?
No, sorry. I'm going to shoot it back to you for 2 minutes, but give Austin 2 minutes to describe what he's talking, because I just want you guys to remember, like, the audience doesn't know what coffee cup, whatever it is, right? So remember, okay, but remember, you're talking to like normies.
Sure. Okay, so
that's what I'm asking. So Austin, you have 2 minutes. Describe. Okay. We've talked about how the sunlight stuff goes on. So 2 minutes, and then Dave, you get 2 minutes.
Okay. So if you type in coffee cup caustic, which I will literally I'll share the screen, and Dave has been shown this in his debate.
Stay on point.
Oh, okay. I am.
Answer my question. Yeah.
Okay. Just Google coffee cup caustic. If I have a coffee cup, if I took the lid off of my coffee cup and then light was shining in from the window, what will happen because of the rim is the light will hit inside the coffee cup and wrap around the entire rim. I can take this little flat earth model right here and do it live. I'd have to cut all the lights off, and since the windows are open, I can't. So it's very simple to explain it. There you go. It wraps around. Now, if you apply this to a flat earth, you will be able to perfectly replicate the distribution of light that gives us day and night, depending depending on the proximity of the source of light. It's easily done. Everyone knows that, and you can look it up. If you're new to that, that's fine, but just look it up, right? And the way that we determine sunset time is with the equation of time, which uses the apparent sun. It uses the mean of the apparent sun. So we don't even use the globe model and a physical location of the sun to determine sunset.
And I've talked about Ibn al-Haytham and his works, and I've talked about convexity and concavity and convergent and divergent lens, and how light needs some kind of a medium exchange in order to reflect like all of this stuff. And but Professor Dave doesn't listen to anything, and he doesn't actually do research. Like I've said, he's paid people to do the work for him, and he admits it.
Set time or day and night distribution in the real world, we use the equation of time. So you can replicate this on a flat Earth. It goes in the globe Earth and flat Earth basket. It isn't exclusive to either one.
Now, how does this? And I'm going to kick it over to Dave after this question. But I watched his debunk video, which is a little bit older, but has a zillion views. So congrats on that. But there's like, let's say you have this coffee cup caustic, right? And his claim is that there's like perpetual night, daylight in this spot and perpetual night in this spot, right? Am I representing that accurately?
Yes, near the solstices, there are places with 24-hour night and 24-hour day.
So how does that figure into this?
Yeah, look, okay, I'll share the screen so everyone can see it.
Okay,
does that work? We'll just do that. So I gotta find which one it is. Here we go. Okay,
I got you.
Okay, if you see here, this is a demonstration of the coffee cup caustic. Okay, that's what this is. So if you look, you put a dome over at the top of the flat Earth, you're going to take a light source. It's going to give you see the distribution of the equinoxes and the solstice right there below it. Now watch what the light does. Now look at it wrap all the way around the outside. Okay, this is called coffee cup caustic, meaning if there was a container on the Earth, it would literally have to do this. It would have to do this. And yes, all the mathematics has been shown, and I could pull that up if I need to.
Well,
so the math has been shown.
I want to give, while you pull that up, I'm going to give Dave 3 minutes to respond because we went over. So I want to give Dave, I'm like, I'm kind of keeping it rough, but just try to keep some. So I want to let Dave respond to this.
I don't need 3 minutes. It doesn't perfectly match. It's just a very hackneyed demonstration that kind of sort of makes a shape. They're not showing any kind of actual model that directly correlates with all the positions. So number one, it absolutely does not correlate with the times of day and night. Doesn't do it. But second of all, it also creates gigantic problems because in order to get this, you're pretending that there's this dome, magical dome, or whatever the hell you're talking about that's giving this effect, which number one isn't there, right? You cannot demonstrate that this dome is there. But number two, it creates other problems because if you're saying that the sun is outside of this dome, then you don't get to have the sun inside the dome for the magical explanation for tides and all these other things that don't make sense on a flat Earth that you're pretending that the sun and the moon do. Right.
Yeah. Now, when Dave mentions this is another point of contention. I just, you guys are going at it, but I just want to keep everyone else in the loop. There is one of the points of contention is whether or not in the flat Earth model, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, is whether or not the sun is inside or outside of this hypothetical dome. Because in one case, it's responsible for the tides and this, that, and the other. And then the other case, it's responsible. What is it? Tides and what did you?
Storms, everything.
Yeah.
Right? Coriolis.
So what is
storms rotate in opposite directions depending on the hemisphere? Everything.
Oh my gosh.
So, okay. All right. So, Austin, I'll give you, go ahead and respond to that.
Okay. Yeah. So we don't know what's above us because you can't freely just shoot stuff up as high as you want to. Okay. And GPS cuts off over a certain height. It's all militarized. But there could be layers to it. I don't know if you've ever thought of that, Dave, but there could just be layers. There could be multiple layers. And yeah, we know the sun affects things here. Tides don't work. You just gish gobs. Tides don't even work in your model. You can look up a paper by a Harvard paper, a century of tidal theory failures.
Gotcha.
Okay. It's very simple. But this was
so water that has saline consistency will be impacted by and first of all, it's the moon that they say, not the sun. I don't know where that came from. And so there's some kind of like a gravitational force or radiating force that could possibly interact with the saline fluid And as I think electricity again being this like these forces again assisted by magnetism. This is a electromagnetic reality. This is one force experiencing itself dualistically, some kind of a video game, like I've said. Anyway, and so water that does not have salt in it, and or like the same consistency as ocean water, that it's not impacted. There's no ebb and flow, or what they talk about, or the raising and the lowering of the water. And sometimes this could be done two times in a day, and which also debunks their discussions about like the moon being orbitably tidally locked to the Earth, which is why we only see 50% of it ever and only ever have, which could also be why it's also possibly a projection, because we only see a two-dimensional version of it, unless we're using a fisheye curve lens. Anyways, I'm going on all these tangents, but oh my goodness.
If the whole debate is just, hey, let's just start spamming Austin with questions of how would this work on a flat Earth, that's not a debate. You're supposed to support the claim the Earth's a spinning ball. I showed direct falsification of it in my PowerPoint. So avoiding that is totally disingenuous.
Like the rotation of the night sky, depending on latitude, and you can't answer. You just say the word perspective and run away.
So Dave,
no, I got 3 words out and you interrupted it.
No, you were free to answer. That's all you could do.
Let me
you remember we did the whole thing with the clock on the ceiling, and you have no idea what you're talking about. You said that,
fellas.
Okay,
let me do. Okay, I'll play ball. I think that's fair.
Inverse square law. Also,
why don't I give Dave and Austin both blocks of time? Dave, defend your position.
Conservation of angular momentum.
Enough, you think?
No, we don't need to.
Also debunks his theory. Yeah. And I would ask him to explain those.
I mean, longer chunks of time are just time for word salads, right? We need to actually.
All right, defend that the Earth is a globe, and then when you're done, I'll pass it to Austin and let him defend that.
Well, I mean,
right?
Look,
that's what you're asking for, Austin, right? So I'm gonna do that.
I want him to rebut the specific falsification of the globe, where we see things from hundreds of miles away that should be obstructed by literal miles of vertical curvature, including silhouettes.
Pick one thing. Pick one thing like that. Okay, so that is the question.
Okay. The question is, why do we see too far? And the answer is, we don't. Sorry, they're all lies. Every time you do a picture like that, you're lying about the distance. You're lying about the elevation, right? The altitude from which the picture is taken. You're just lying, right? All of these things.
What is the picture you're talking about? Is this a picture where it's like, oh, here's a mountain that's
they just take pictures and like, look at this thing that's so far away, we shouldn't be able to see it. Or like, here's the Chicago skyline from across the lake, well, we shouldn't be able to see it. They're just always lying. They're just lying about the distance. They're lying about various.
Bro, those were everyone I showed was from a professional photography website that has nothing to do with flat Earth, with all of the information listed.
Austin,
your model doesn't claim that the distances are wrong. That isn't your model's answer.
No, you guys just lie. You guys just lie. That's all it is. You just lie about how far away things are and how high.
It's a professional photography website. It has nothing to do with flat Earth.
They're trying to say that the sun is 93 million miles away, and they're saying that we're liars. Okay.
Can you share one so people can see what you guys are talking about?
Please? Yeah, sure.
Anyone you want, as long as Dave agrees that it looks good. Share one that you think, Austin, that you think. I'm trying to, share one that you think supports your position, and then Dave can debunk the photo, or he can share his criticisms of the photo. And while he's looking that up, I want to give everyone a chance, let you know. I'm joined here by 2 creators, 2 commentators, both Witsit Gets It Done on YouTube, linked in the description. Is at YouTube at Witsit, and as well as Professor Dave. Also enjoyed your Terrence Howard video, because I think he actually is legitimately insane, but that I don't know. But the
expected virality on that one,
yeah, that was all right. Yeah, but both guys create content. One of the people in this room are banned from Twitter. I don't want to name names, but the otherwise you can find them on Twitter, or Dave, is there somewhere else where you want people to look for your stuff other than Okay.
So even I will discuss the moon again. I'm sorry that I get a little obsessive with this stuff, but just because they also say that like it's impossible to predict the movement of the moon in a lot of the models, especially Copernicus, and so even the moon, the full moon and the new moons, they're also predictable every single month, and so this month the full moon is in Capricorn. Last month it was in Sagittarius. Next month it will be in Aquarius. The following month it will be in Pisces, and then Aries, and then so on and so on. And the same thing with the new moon. So let me just go here and see the next new moon. Actually, the next phase of the moon is 21st of June. We have the full moon. And then on July 5th, we have the new moon in Cancer. So if I was to look at that, the new moon in August would be in Leo, for example. So let me just go into my moon tracker here. And there we go. Leo. And then it would be in Virgo, and then it would be in Libra, and then Scorpio, and then Sagittarius, and so on. And so how is this possible on your model if the moon is orbitably locked and all that other stuff? Anyway.
YouTube.
One of these guys in the room is also propped up by all the algorithms.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
I
That's
make
not
popular
debating.
content, man. I make popular content because it's
anyone's
funny to
popular-
watch.
Wait,
the
you're
algorithm.
prioritized by the algorithm.
No, I'm things that people like to watch are
No.
prioritized by the algorithm.
If I Google
Nobody
Witsit gets
watches
it, you
guys
come
because
up.
So few people are stupid enough to fall for a flat Earth, so nobody watches you guys. I
Well,
make
Dave,
content
listen,
that's interesting.
If I YouTube Witsit gets it geocentrism, a literal stream I did, you pop up. Can you
Okay.
explain to me why you're popping up when I search for me? Okay, let's not play games.
Let's try it.
I'm
Yeah,
waiting
it's
right now.
YouTube admitted in Congress they deprioritize
Gets it.
flat Earth content because it's misinformation. So
Geocentrism.
what?
Yeah, I don't get it. I got if the Earth is flat, what's under it? Shorts.
Yeah,
Solar
that's what I
system
got.
from Earth's
Of
perspective.
course, because it's heavily censored. It doesn't mean it's true, but we don't have to play this game that like
I
you're
got a
not propped
cheat
up.
video.
Jeff recommends popular content, but I make very good, informative, educational content. as
Look at
well
that.
as
What do you
videos.
wait? Go down. What do you have to do with
Okay.
Witsit gets to geocentrism?
Third
What does your video have to do with it? You
I
just
don't know.
proved my point live for the whole entire audience.
Maybe I
Thank
put
you.
the keyword geocentrism in there. I don't even remember what my keywords are.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
You don't know. You don't know what my keywords are.
I know for a fact you did it. So anyway,
You don't
Anyway,
have
let's
access
get
to
back
my
to the
YouTube
photo.
because
studio.
I've
You don't know
tested
what my keywords
tested this because you're the number one propped up anti-flat Earth. Dude, they admitted in Congress that they consider it misinformation, so they deprioritize it and they prioritize the information correcting the misinformation. That would be you, according to them. So they prioritize you. If you look up anything flat Earth related, you get Professor Dave. Okay, we all know that content blows the rest of your content out. That's why you got so many tens of millions of views.
Look, I have 1,500 tutorials. Do we really want to talk about my education?
No, bro, I'm not even. I hope you. Good luck, brother. I'm not hating on you or your success. I'm just pointing out.
No, you definitely.
I'm literally not, dude. If you make $400 million, I don't care. I wish you would. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm just pointing out, bro. I'm just pointing out
Awesome.
the objective fact that it's C-part.
Austin, I love you, but hold on. Now, here's a picture that Austin shared. Nobody denies that this picture exists. Austin, what do you say this is showing? Now, remember, I keep bringing it back because people who are watching aren't as balls deep as you guys both are in the topic. You know what I mean?
Sure.
This is just a picture to me. What does this show?
That's pretty good.
So this was the world record at the time. It's been beaten now for the longest line of sight photograph ever taken. This is a mountain called Pic Gaspard. Okay. And it was so now on a globe, if I look out, the Earth should be curving and blocking things in the distance, similar to how I can't look around a corner, right? If I look, it's like looking at a hill. Mm-hmm. So if based on your height,
taken at 12,000 feet though, right?
Correct. Right. So what you do is you pull up Earth Curve Calculator, you put the observer height in, and then it'll tell you where the horizon will be, and it'll tell you how much of the target hidden height there is. So this is from the Earth Curve Calculator, official calculator. And if you look at it, the observer was 9,000 feet up. The target hidden height, meaning how much Earth curvature should be there, is 16,000 feet, and the top of the tallest part of the mountain is only 12,000 feet. That means the top of that mountain should be 4,000 feet below Earth curvature.
Okay, and then Dave, what do you say to that?
Two things. One, I cannot verify any of those numbers. Those could absolutely be fabricated.
Oh my God. I knew he was going to say that. So I was just looking at, I've shared this before. I actually shared this with Craig, who is apparently a nuclear engineer. I'm not disclaiming that. He does seem smart, but he's not smart enough, I guess. Anyway, I only say that because he's been at this for years. He hasn't looked at our model or his model properly. And so when they talk about this curve at 3 miles, okay, and this is the Pythagorean proof of curvature for a ball with a radius of 3959 miles. they're the ones, Copernicus types, these are the ones, okay, the Professor Daves that allege that this is the mathematics, okay, measurable, repeatable, observable, apparently. And this is what Austin's showing you, that's debunking this, right? Because in order to have that downward slope, you'd need to have like some kind of a physical geographic horizon and a visible curve, right, in order to create this alleged globe, right, where there's claiming that the water is sticking and we're sticking, you know, on it by gravity, which is a weaker force than you know, apparently electrostatics and magnetism and even like wind, you know, and again, depending on the pressure, density, and temperature, things like that. Nothing to do with gravity as they explain it. But anyways, at 3 miles, it would be 6 feet of alleged curvature, and then so over 30 miles, and this is if you're at ground level or sea level. And what they're doing is they're factoring in the height. Doing those experiments as well, very thorough, but this is based off of this, right? And so, and then a diameter of approximately 7918 miles or whatever it is, of the diameter, and a circumference of approximately 24,901 miles. And this is what these people have alleged, and this is what is repeatedly debunked, right? If you could see flatness or zero curve, even at hundreds of miles, and we're proving that even with lasers and with like the infrared and sonar and all of that stuff, but then also with the Nikon P900 and other things where we're zooming in, proving that there is no curve. We have not seen it yet. Again, at 3 miles, it would be 6 feet of alleged curvature. I'm giving you, again, that is such a short distance, and so when they're looking at 100 miles. You know, that is 6,666 feet. Crazy. Yeah. This is not our model. This is not our math. We're just debunking it. And Professor Dave never wants to talk about that. Yeah. So they're factoring in the observer height. There's multiple different ways to get the 8 inches per mile squared. That is the Earth curve calculations. The fact that he doesn't know that is not surprising. Anyway.
And number 2, we're not doing any of the math. So those are 2 things that are not being verified. So instead, let's talk about something purely conceptual and intuitive. Why can we see farther with elevation?
You're on the screen. Be careful.
What happened?
I know.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just saying,
This guy's just denying basic
as somebody,
math.
as
No,
somebody
let me
who's put
finish.
their own, I put my
Basic
own home
math.
address on when I didn't realize it. So I was just telling you.
Yeah, I guess you could look.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let me finish the thing I was saying.
Go ahead. Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
So we can't verify any of these numbers. So instead, let's just talk about something very simple and intuitive. If we are looking at something at the horizon, if we go up in elevation, we can see farther. That is not intuitive on a flat Earth because that actually increases the distance to the horizon, right? If you're going up, now there's an additional distance, right? If you get a hypotenuse, that's always going to be longer than the leg there. So why can we see further with higher elevation? That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, that's insanely incorrect. So you
What-
change
What
your
about- what
angle
about
of
it is
view.
incorrect? Okay, so just address the point, right?
I did
Okay, go ahead. You
within
just said it was
within 7
incorrect.
seconds.
incorrect.
He
Austin,
made a claim
You're
that
here
it doesn't
and you're
make any
looking
sense.
here.
It's
If you go up,
basic
this is
math.
even farther now, right? If you're here and you're looking at something here and you go up in elevation,
I'm sorry.
that thing is now further away from you. So why can you see further with additional elevation?
Because you're increasing your angle of view.
I can't believe this guy.
Increasing
You
your
didn't
angle
know
of
that?
view, you can see how can you see a further distance? We're not talking about an angle, a further distance. How can you see?
Because now you're changing your angle of view, so you're increasing your angular resolution and the things that you can pick up in the distance. Also,
Why does
the
that
ground
make it
ramps
further?
up due to perspective. Dude, just
Ramps
imagine,
up?
just think about it simply. If I was on a flat floor and I laid my head down on the floor, as I start to stand up, I'm going to be able to see further along the floor because my angle of view increases. This is again not exclusive to a globe Earth. And you deflected away from the observation that refutes the globe again.
Because I can't verify any of these numbers or the math. They're just lying about them.
Okay, so if the numbers are correct, then you concede it refutes the globe.
Probably not. No.
Okay, then answer it as if the answer, because these are not my numbers.
Okay, I don't know that.
Everyone at home's going to be able to go look it up. It's a official professional photography website.
I
It's
just
not
want
even
to let you guys both know. At the start of the show, I did a poll, just so it's with about 3,000 votes. It's 65% Globe Gang, 35% Flat Friend, which I thought I'm going to run it again at the end because I thought this would be fun and a fun experience.
Well, nobody's going to change their mind here.
Well, that's probably
Oh my God.
true. So you've watched online debates before, Dave. So the yeah.
Well, no, not really. I mean, he brings his flat Earth, people, and I mean, they impervious to facts and logic, so they're not going to change.
Says the guy that's
their
just
mind on anything.
ducking a picture.
Yeah, I'm ducking a picture because it's a picture, right? I'm talking about very simple physical concepts, right? I'm talking about observations that we can all agree on, like the observation of a celestial sphere rotating counterclockwise versus clockwise, that you cannot explain, that only makes sense on a spherical Earth. That
Okay, I'm gonna stop. Like, I just wanted to not have you see me do this, but I'm just going off of a Globe Earth app online. I just googled Globe Earth or Earth curve calculator, and to be fair, sorry, I'm thinking about Letterkenny, and so factoring in eyesight level or what they're calling observer height. This is so just the object. I just plugged in the same math. You can do this yourself just to verify. 256 miles because they were doing it in miles. The elevation or the eyesight levels in feet, so it was 9,136 feet. And then so the obscure object part, okay, would be it was in feet. So like what they had, it was 12,869 feet. This one says 12,870, so it's rounding up. So again, this is verifiable. This is the Globe Earth calculator online. This is, and so you got to be thorough and verify and confirm, and I just did. And so again, stuff that Professor Dave doesn't do. He just likes to make fun of people.
we used in ancient times to prove that the Earth is a sphere. That's why sphere is the default position that you're trying to undermine by talking about.
Hey, real fast, can we show some intellectual honesty? I understand that you don't know these numbers, and fair enough. Okay,
fair.
you want to verify them. That's fair. That's fair. I'm asking you in good faith, if the numbers were correct, which they are, what would be your response?
You could say if the numbers were correct.
Okay. Yeah, it's an intellectually honest question, and it's actually disingenuous to avoid addressing the evidence just with the cop out that I can't verify the numbers right now.
It's actually really not, because when you have an entire model that is all interconnected and all observable phenomena are explained by that model, one singular datum, like one photo, is not going to be powerful enough to undermine an entire model. If the numbers were true and if the math wasn't fudged, then I would say, okay, there's probably some kind of atmospheric effect or some kind of thing that I am not aware of that is making us see a little bit further. Maybe it's something that particular day. There's a particular humidity, or it's clearly over water that's going to increase the atmospheric refractive effects. None of these observations are ever done over land. I think that's why. Same with the skyline of Chicago. They're always done over water for you guys. So there's something clearly, just one singular explanation that is missing. And that's why one datum is not going to undermine an entire model that explains every single thing about the world.
Oh, he's so painful. He just rambles on, right? Like he did. Like there's still no science being introduced. So I'm just gonna again just give the another Earth curve calculator. This is from the Globe Earth model, and I just factored in again the feet for the observer height, right? So you can so again I'm just going off of that, and it's verifying the same thing. So this one here says target hidden height would be 12,869.6242 feet, right? So that's why some of the calculators will say one like 12,869, and then some will say 12,870 based on that. And yeah, so like let's say 6 feet if you're 6 feet tall, and Chicago skyline at that bank. Hidden view would be 2,166 feet, 0.5765 feet, and not a mirage. So that's just another one. And then also, like I should have shown that, but on that it said that the Earth is a convex sphere of a radius of 6,371 kilometers. And when you transfer 6,371 kilometers into miles, it equates to what even the Pythagoras model that I showed you, it says it's 3,959.756 miles. Or if you round up 3,959 for the radius and double that for the diameter.
That we live in, from everything we see in the night sky to geological phenomena to just absolutely everything in our world, right?
So hand wave dismissal, red herring fallacies, appeal to possibilities. That's your rebuttal. Okay, we can move on.
Fallacy, name a fallacy, fallacy.
Let's move on.
Do you know that fallacies are important, Dave?
Now, I know that you guys
No,
name
fallacies.
random fallacies to pretend that you've won something when you didn't. That's
You literally appealed to possibilities. You said there's probably something that could possibly be happening. You literally did a textbook appeal to possibility. It's
okay,
it's all
and
good.
You're pretending that one observation is worth more than thousands upon thousands of observations every single day.
I showed 10. I showed 10. It doesn't matter. You're just affirming the consequent and reifying your model by saying it explains everything. What about the long?
We see too far.
What about the long distance radio waves? What about when we shoot radio waves line of sight?
That's
thousands of
sporadic
miles.
E propagation. It bounces off a layer of the atmosphere.
Oh my God.
Okay, that's called
hold on.
skywave propagation.
Okay, hold on.
Sporadic
Hold on,
E
hold on.
propagation.
Everyone's had their say on that. Okay, let me ask you. What another thing that I found fascinating as a normie is the contention between the what do they call you, Dave? A glober?
I don't know.
What is the name?
Heads, globe.
Globe.
I don't care.
And then so the globe people and the flat people is the idea that's one of the things that I saw Austin talk about and you talk about was that essentially 5,000 years ago there was a different North Star, and the question around whether or not the stars move, because that is actually paramount to the idea that the Earth is rotating around the sun versus the Earth being the center of the universe. So Austin, I'll go to Austin, then I'll go to Dave, and then next time I'll start with Dave. So in the flat Earth model, is it that the stars? Can you explain the stars thing to the layman in the flat Earth model?
Okay, wait, the star thing, like the question you just asked about the star moving, or something else?
Well, I thought maybe I misunderstood. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought the flat Earth mindset was that the stars did not move. Is that not true?
Sure.
Am I wrong about that?
Okay. Well,
or correct
the
me.
claim.
Yeah.
There is a claim that the North Star used to be a different star, and it's a very vague, ambiguous claim based on like architecture. So there's no actual legitimate evidence verifying that. For all legitimately recorded history, we have Polaris. But there is something called a kinematic equivalence, which sure that sounds fancy, but it's not.
Hold on. I know you're explaining it, but you didn't. So is it? What is the flat Earth position on stars? Do they move or do they not move?
They move every day. That's called sidereal rotation. If you mean over time, there does seem to be a slight progression of the stars. But what I'm trying to explain is that isn't exclusive to the Earth moving or not moving, right? It's called kinematic equivalence, which is what relativity is about, relative motion. It's like, oh, is the plane moving or am I moving? You can never tell. That's what the globe model says. So anything that moves in the sky could by default not prove that we were the ones moving according to the official globe model. That's the point I'm making. It's called a kinematic equivalence. Mm-hmm. So whatever the stars are doing, because we can't go back thousands of years and verify if the North Star was different, whether it was or wasn't, it doesn't prove the Earth is moving.
So, Dave, your response to that?
Yeah, a couple things. Number one, the North Star became Polaris in like 600 CE or something.
6,000 years ago, something. Yeah.
No, way more recent than that. Polaris. It was Thuban in the times of the Egyptians. Became Polaris. So that's well documented. But furthermore, we don't need to do that. We can very accurately observe Milankovitch cycles. We can see the precession of the rotational axis happens every year. It can be measured, and then there's parallax and all these other things. But that's not really what matters, because again, he's trying to do this thing where he doesn't have to where he's pretending that geocentrism doesn't assume a spherical Earth. When the argument was going on in the Renaissance, early Renaissance, about geocentrism and heliocentrism, we knew that the Earth was a sphere. So every time he does this kinematic equivalence thing, the kinematic equivalence he's trying to refer to is whether the Earth goes around the sun or if the sun goes around the earth, not doing little donuts on a pizza land. That's not an equivalence. Those are not equal things. We're talking about one going around one or the other going around the other. Those are the two things. So geocentrism, you often try to defend a geocentric model. It assumes a spherical Earth. That is an actual model that can, to some reasonable precision, describe the motions of the celestial objects and put them where they're supposed to go and predict quantitatively where they're going to be. Flat Earth doesn't have that. You don't have any model. You don't have any way of saying this is where the planets are going to be. This is when an eclipse is going to happen. Any of these things. You absolutely cannot do any of those things. That's why I told you in the beginning, if you want to defend geocentrism, that's totally fine. We can talk about how we know that the Earth moves, which is a completely different topic from knowing whether the Earth is round or flat, because geocentrism uses a spherical Earth.
Okay, response to that, Austin.
Okay, so what's happening is I'm specifically addressing the singular point in your gish galloping.
No.
So, like, you want me to address everything you just said,
You're
right? Like, for one,
kinematic equivalence has nothing to do.
How about this? Just I'll throw it right back to you real quick. Why is geocentrism exclusive to the Earth being a sphere?
Because it's a model that works. Flat Earth doesn't work. It doesn't explain anything we see, like the observations of the celestial sphere that you keep running away from. You cannot explain why the stars rotate one way in the north and the other way in the south. You cannot explain that.
All right, I'm going to take my time back and let me respond to everything you said, because you didn't answer. So the answer is that it's not, because with everything
you didn't answer. That's fine.
You didn't. You just started talking about star trails again. So with everything going on in the quote unquote universe, you said universe wouldn't exist. No, maybe not as you've defined it, but with everything going on, all the quote unquote planets, everything moving around, the Earth's shape doesn't matter. You just project that relative to your projection. You create a transform relative to your projection or your assumption of motion.
Observations of the night
Buddy,
sky.
I let you finish.
Here.
Chill out. Okay. So
let him finish. Let him finish, Dave.
So the truth is that all observations have shown that the Earth is stationary. We have the cosmic microwave background, which showed anisotropic inhomogeneous distribution of energy, which is the exact opposite of the heliocentric prediction, and intersected on the Earth. The 23.4 degree axis was on a non-local observation. Dude, define word salad.
You're just using words. You're trying to pretend that cosmology proves the Earth is flat. Then all cosmologists would be flat earthers. Do you have any idea how insane you sound? No, it's not. You're pretending to understand cosmology. You're pretending.
What did I say that was word salad, Dave?
No, I'm saying it's word salad because it is word salad.
I like I said that was word salad.
We're talking about the shape of the Earth. You're defending a flat Earth, which we figured out it isn't true in 2,500 years ago, and you're trying to talk about modern cosmology to try to talk about this when you can't even explain naked eye observations of the stars in the sky.
Okay, look, they're directly related. The idea is that the Earth is a tilted, wobbling, spinning sphere that revolves around the sun. The alternative is that the Earth is a geocentric, stationary plane. Both of those are directly related.
Sphere, that is a stationary sphere, was the alternative. Prior to heliocentrism, we thought that it was a stationary
Stop interrupting.
sphere.
Hold on.
You keep going off the rails. I got to bring you back to what we're talking about.
Hold on, guys. Okay, I'm getting some flack for allowing too much interruptions. That's on me. I know that both of you feel passionately about this, but please try to keep that to a minimum. But I do want to say, most importantly, I think it's really important and really cool that both of you took time out on a Saturday night to get online and do this and stream. And I just want to thank, I just want to give a shout out. I don't care who people back who are watching or whatever, both channels are linked in the description. Witsit gets it or Professor Dave. Ideally, you'd subscribe to both and consume both people's content and, make up your own mind. I just want to, before, emotions heat up too much, just, say, hey, I appreciate you both being here. I know that it's a weekend night. Can I, if you'll allow me, I'm getting called a coward for not bringing up The Edge, apparently, which is, I assume, one of the more controversial opinions and Austin, I think it's fair for you to say, hey, I showed up and I'm the one that has to answer. I'm the one that has to defend all our positions. But I also think that's a result of the fact that the spherical Earth is the commonly accepted opinion. So
Sure.
I want to be fair, and I'm not doing awesome at it, but I'm trying. So I want to say, like, if there are specific positions against the sphere or against that you want Dave to answer for, I want to give you that opportunity. But one thing that is what I found fascinating today was the idea of the ice wall or Antarctica. There's a lot of craziness around that, because what I thought, just being unbiased, trying to be unbiased, but I guess being honest, that is very hard for me to believe. Because people can literally go to Antarctica. It's like I watched a lot of flat earth video. I told you guys before, I watched almost 8 hours, and I was like, these bastards better show up, because I spent my whole Saturday watching flat earth videos. But like, I was watching like the Antarctica thing, which is a common talking point, and people go there all the time. So what is the flat earth position about the rim? Basically, that's what people in chat are asking. That what's going on the edges in the flat earth? And then Dave, I'll give you a chance to. Is that okay? I'll give you a chance to respond to that. Okay.
All right. First of all, to address the first part, I'm cool with asking questions. That's the natural response, because flat earth is so out of left field for most people.
Yeah.
But that's more of like a normal conversation thing, not a like he's supposed to be debating me thing. But it's all good.
Okay.
I'm pretty chill.
I mean, I can let you guys just go at it too, if that's what you want.
No, it's cool. I'm going to answer your question. Okay. This is the typically held position. You cannot freely and privately explore past the 60th south latitude, okay, which is a ring around the outside. So to independently and freely identify and verify what all is out there is not possible. Do people go there? Yes, you can go on approved guided tours. Most of the time, it's like just a couple locations. They say it's super dangerous. I have a friend that this is anecdotal, but a former NASA employee was stationed there for 6 months. He's a flat earther. It's admittedly the highest elevation on Earth. So when people say ice wall, I mean, there are videos and pictures of what you would call an ice wall. It's the highest elevation on the Earth.
Hold on. Highest elevation on Earth in Antarctica?
Highest average elevation. So not like Mount Everest, the highest average elevation of a continent.
Okay. That might
be. So we're saying we don't know what's there. And oftentimes people get this straw man. It's like flat earthers say you can't go to Antarctica. People go there all the time. No, we're saying you can't freely and privately explore it, right? Like if I let you in my house, but you couldn't go upstairs, you couldn't tell me what was upstairs, right?
It's a sex dungeon. I would know.
So are you going to go with Will Duffy to the South Pole? He's paying for you.
I told him when he first emailed me, before I even knew who he was, that I was open to going. I had specific parameters, which is that they can't take my words out of context and make a hit piece like they always do, that they have to be forthcoming about all the funding and all the stuff like that. And I said I would go. I have no reason not to.
Hold on, Dave. Can you explain the Will? Because I know about the Will Duffy thing, but most people watching.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was getting these emails and not even knowing who he was, so I didn't reply. But he was this guy, Will Duffy, has been emailing flat earthers and people who make flat earth debunking content about paying to bring some people to the South Pole to observe the 24-hour sun.
He's like some eccentric billionaire guy, right?
I don't really know anything about him, and I don't know how much money he has. I don't think he's a billionaire. I think he has enough money to pay for a couple people to go.
Because I will go. I'll do the South Pole tour.
I wouldn't. I have things to do, but I would love for some flat earthers to go and see the 24-hour sun. And most flat earthers are already making excuses. Weiss is saying he doesn't want to go because he's evil Satan or something. I don't know what he's talking
Austin
about.
said he would go.
Okay, that's great.
And Dave's position was that he doesn't respect people that are dishonest and hide behind anonymity and stuff like that. So whatever, I said I would go because, dude, I'm not scared of anything. I'm a flat earther.
Did he contact you?
Yeah. He sent like a mass email, and when I saw it, I responded. I said, dude, look, I'll go. It has to be transparent, honest. People have stolen money. They claim on their videos they're going to fly us, and then we contact them. They're like, I'm not going to actually fly you. That's just for my YouTube video. But he still has a GoFundMe up to make flat earthers look bad. So I said, if it's honest, I'll go. I'm not scared of the truth, dude. I'm a flat earther because you can go see mountains from hundreds of miles away consistently. It doesn't add up. The math doesn't add up. So anyway, and
can I bring it back?
I don't know how that's going to manifest, but as of now, it looks like it could be me and Jaron going with, I guess, Dave McKeegan or something. But
I give you.
And when we don't see the 24-hour sun,
what are you going to have to see? So if you go, all right, right here and right now, you go, you see 24-hour sun, you come back, you make a video, because look, I saw this in Dave's video. I feel like I've saw you, and I have also. Everyone's been wrong. It's not like a big deal. I'm not saying you are. I'm saying what will it take? Like if you go down there and you see what 24-hour sunlight, you'll come back and say, all right, cool. I'm cool. It's global. I'm a global guy now. What would it take if you went to the South Pole for you to change your mind?
If I saw a 24-hour sun that does a 360 around me, like the globe predicts, I would readily admit like that does.
What's a 360 around me look like?
Like the sun should just do a full circle around you and never set, just like it does in the north in the midnight sun. It should do the same thing in the south.
What does it look like in Alaska when it's light for 24 hours there? It
literally does. If you're far enough north, you can just see the sun do a full circle around you, which is what the flat Earth predicts as well. What's up,
Dave? Do you have any issue with that? I don't know. I've never been there.
No, great. I can't wait. I really hope they go, and then when they come back, that's the end of flat Earth because that will be it. And
well, let me finish what I was saying.
Okay.
Yes, it would match the globe. I would step back and be like, whoa, I don't expect it to. So I would admit, yeah, that's weird. That matches the globe. That's not expected on the flat Earth from my understanding, blah, blah, blah. I'd openly admit it.
Isn't that what you just did to me about the photograph? Or I was thinking of another explanation?
What? No. I didn't even say that yet, but maybe. But a more definitive test actually is to charter a plane, fly far enough south, have multiple mechanical gyros spinning up that maintain rigidity in space. They should tip over as you go, and then it should flip over. So it should tip and flip based on the curvature of the Earth. If say that test and the 24-hour sun was actually manifested, which I don't have high hopes for, if I found out for sure the Earth's a globe, I would be the first one to come out and admit I was wrong. Because that doesn't prove one thing doesn't prove is that we're flying through space. It doesn't prove any of this other nonsense.
Okay, well, let me ask this. So, I feel like Austin's been on a bit of the hot seat. So let me pose a question to Dave. I watched a bunch of your videos today. I actually really appreciate. I can definitely tell you're a teacher because all of your PowerPoint slides gave me PTSD back to my college days.
I'm good with slides.
Yeah. I actually, when I was getting my master's degree, I still had a professor that used overhead projectors that he had written in the 70s.
Old school. Yeah.
Yeah. But I've heard the terminology around flat Earth several times in your videos about grifting, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the grift? What is the grift in saying that there's a flat Earth? Can you kind of describe that? Because I don't see a lot of these flat Earth guys being give me money. What is it?
It's just a little cult, and there's super chats, and they do the conferences and all these things. That's all it is.
So it's
not like a huge grift. It's not like Scientology or something. But
okay, we all agree Scientology is a huge grift, right?
I hope we all agree that.
Yeah,
dude. Flat Earth doesn't make you money, bro. I get demonetized all the time. I'm deprioritized. I had to lose a 6-figure job offer because I had flat Earth videos online.
Okay.
If you were going to grift, why would you pick the thing that doesn't make money?
Because you're it doesn't make a better grift. If you could do. I've been debunking Billy Carson and some of these guys on the Rogan thing. That guy actually makes money lying about archaeology and ancient aliens and stuff like that. That would be a smarter grift.
Anyway, but this is the problem. People are going to get so triggered that Dave's not being forced to actually address his improper claims.
Okay, well, what is
I'm just going to be real.
No, he's right here. He's right. Okay, hold on, Dave. All right. What is it? Articulate the question that Dave has not answered, and then Dave, the floor is
all ears.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So like I explained earlier, when we looked at the cosmic microwave background, it actually showed that there was, he called this word salad, anisotropic.
Wait, what is it? I just want to, we're not all, so what did you say? The what microwave?
It's called the cosmic microwave background, CMB, which is just, you send something up high in the air and you read the electromagnetic radiation. There's the visible spectrum of light, then there's the non-visible spectrum. It's pulling in all the data from the light that you can't see with your eyes.
If you've ever researched flat Earth, you know this image, right? Dave's seen this.
Probably,
image,
yeah.
right?
Most people certainly
do with flat Earth. I mean, this is cosmology.
Hold on. But hold on, Dave. Okay. Hold on. Just let him. Yeah. Just let him.
It's about is the Earth moving or not? So in the current model that the Earth is flying around the sun, the universe, whatever, all the energy should be evenly distributed. That's called homogeneous, and it should be isotropic, meaning it has no preferred direction. Okay, but what they saw was that it was inhomogeneous and anisotropic, and actually the part that had a preferred direction intersected on the Earth. And they ended up calling it the axis of evil. And then what they saw was that this anisotropic inhomogeneous distribution of energy was actually on a 23.4 degree tilt, which was supposedly the Earth's tilt, but it was observed way beyond our quote unquote galaxy, which means it could not have been the Earth tilted. So it's a major problem. The CMB matched the geocentric model.
Okay, Austin. So you're talking, so this image, right? The CMB model, right? You're saying, how does this, one thing again, I'm a layman, so I feel like I'm speaking for just regular people who are watching. What about this should Dave talk about when it comes to the sphere heads? You know, so when you talk about the microwave, whatever, how does this relate to flat Earth? Is what my question is.
This is just about if the Earth is geocentric or not. If the universe is geocentric.
Okay,
so
that's a different conversation then, right? Because
it's not though.
The planet
it's not
could be yes, it is, because the planet could be a sphere but still be geocentric.
It
right?
could be, yes, that's right.
Okay, so it is different.
The point is that the mainstream model we were all inundated with was that the Earth is a spinning globe. So the alternative is that the Earth is a stationary plane. And what always happens is the people that believe in the spinning globe, they want to avoid the burden of proof for both of those things, curvature and motion. And if they think they can say what's an eclipse, then somehow they don't have to explain all the evidence that shows the Earth's not a spinning globe. And that is illogical.
Austin, how do you explain eclipses? You brought it up. I didn't bring it up. So
well,
I don't know.
This one up first. I mean, let's not jump topics here.
Okay, I'll shut up. You're right, Dave. Thanks for keeping me in line.
Yeah. You can go whatever we want after this, but no, this is what Austin relies on. This is why he's so incapable of doing.
But what does it supposedly prove? I'm sorry. So what does
that the Earth's in the center of the universe?
Got it. Okay, Dave, respond.
Okay. So no, it absolutely doesn't. Otherwise, cosmologists would all agree that Earth was at the center of the universe. Right? This is all freely available information that you're finding on Wikipedia. If this demonstrated what you're saying it does, that would be the consensus among people who study this for a living. It is not, and that doesn't do what you're saying. You're just saying it does. This is what you do, right? You need to talk about esoteric aspects of modern physics because your viewers don't understand what you're talking about and they just believe you, instead of talking about very simple things like, which I want to keep bringing you back to. Why is it that people looking in different directions can all see the Southern Cross at the same time? Very simple, intuitive things. These are what we should be discussing.
Sure. Okay. So hand wave dismissal, appeal to consensus, and appeal to authority.
You're just lying about what it says.
You said if it said what I said, all the experts would agree. The consensus is that there is no the consensus is that there's
homogeneous. The CMB is homogeneous. This is common knowledge.
The consensus is that there's no legitimate explanation that's agreed upon for it. And it was originally rejected and then redone and showed the same unexpected results and then done again and shown the same unexpected results. That's the actual truth. There isn't a legitimate consensus answer from your paradigm. Doesn't matter. When you want to keep talking about the stars, you said look different directions. Just like when Dave Weiss was talking to you, he tried to tell you magnetic declination's a thing, and you called that jargon and said that wasn't a real thing. You're just making up words.
I didn't say he made it up. I just said he's saying magnetism for no reason because it has nothing to do with what I was talking about. How is magnetic declination going to allow you to see the same thing by looking in different directions? Explain. You go ahead. Go ahead and ask the man what Weiss said.
We're going to see that you didn't follow him then either. And that is that you're talking about directions. You're invoking cardinal directions. Mm-hmm. How do you determine your directions? So if you're going to use a compass, according to your paradigm, when you get to the south, the magnetic declination gets way worse.
Why do I need a compass? Can I use geographical phenomena? Can I point in a particular geographical direction by known landmarks? Don't we know on a map?
How do you know the exact? First of all, when you're looking at the stars all the way to the Southern Cross, what known landmarks are you going to use?
Anything on the tips of those continents. What are you talking about? You're standing at the tip of a southern continent. Look, I'll give you, let's say you're off by a degree or two. Okay, fine. We're looking a little bit this way, or a little bit that way. On the graphic that I showed you, they're looking in completely different directions, all seeing the Southern Cross at the same time. It doesn't make sense. You can't.
First of all, it's not a degree or two, Dave. It is dozens and dozens of degrees. If you go far enough south, it is actually 179 degrees at one point. Meaning,
how far south? Very near the magnetic pole?
Yeah, in your paradigm, which your magnetic pole's in the ocean. But the point is dude, if you're going to say I'm looking south for sure, you're relying on magnetic declination corrections. Okay, but that's the point Dave was making. You hand wave dismissed it. It's just a fact.
I can go outside of my house and look north without looking at a compass because I know which way north is on a map. Do you use a compass every day to orient yourself? Or do you just know which way the cardinal's directions are?
Yeah, but in the north, we have Polaris to go off of, right?
No. On a map, on a street, walking around the street, you've got a grid of streets, you know which way is north. Do you need a compass to do that?
Well, actually, if you use the compass, it will show you different directions over time. I'm asking you, how do
So
you
screw the
verify
compass.
south?
Use
How do
geography.
dude, how did you verify the exact cardinal direction of different geographical input? Okay, but let's just anyway. You don't understand that point apparently, but it doesn't matter. Even
Or
if
you're just desperately pivoting.
no, dude, you said that it wasn't a real thing, and now
I
you
didn't
think
say
it's
it
1
wasn't a
degree
real
or
thing.
2
I
degree.
said you're just bringing up magnetism for no reason because you think that's going
No,
to save you.
it's
It's almost verbatim
it's
what I said.
how
almost
else
verbatim
you're
what I
saying the only other way to verify it is to look at geography.
Dude,
Okay,
You're
so
pretending
anyway,
that if I'm looking at what I know is south on a map, that I could somehow be pointing basically north or near north. Is that really how much of it's just distortion you think is physically possible when you're just using a map to look south?
you don't just use. Okay, I'm trying to explain to you that in your paradigm in the South, the magnetic declination gets crazy. In theory, could that be true? Sure.
Where does it get crazy? How close to the magnetic
Below
pole do
the
you have to
equator,
get
man.
in order for it to get crazy? How close to the
Wherever
magnetic
you're
pole?
viewing the Southern Cross from is far enough south that the magnetic declination is a significant factor.
Is it though? Because it's not really that close to the magnetic pole.
No, but it can still be 40, 50 degrees magnetic declination
No, it
in
couldn't.
your paradigm.
No, it
Yes,
couldn't.
you can go to magnetic-declination.com and look it up. The other thing is there's something called an azimuthal grid. So we actually see the world in a little azimuth grid. That's how we measure it, right? That's how we measure the stars. We take our zenith, and then we take elevation measurements down to our azimuth. So it gives you a little dome. Now, when you actually run this through a software, you will see that if you had a bunch of stars circling over top of you and you had this little limit of vision that was a dome, you'll actually see the stars appear to converge at a point where they're actually not converging and circle around that point. We have replicated it, so we actually expect it. The problem is we need to verify the exact cardinal direction to even put that input into the software to know for sure, to give you a flat Earth model you all beg for, and it is impossible to 100% verify the cardinal directions that far south. So
hold on. All right. Okay.
You have no such model. You have no such thing, or you would have shown it. You would have all been celebrating it in all your videos. You can't.
We've shown it. We have shown it.
Well, bring it up. I'm going to let you bring it up, Austin. I want to say this. Go ahead, take a minute, bring it up. I want to be respectful of everyone's time, so I wanted to keep this to, maybe 30. Are you guys okay with 30 more minutes? Is that okay? Or
yeah,
20, 30.
20, yeah.
Okay. So are you guys okay with? I want to just pull the pin on a grenade, chuck it in, and back out, and let you guys go at it because I'm getting yelled at for interrupting too much. But also, would you guys be okay with the last 10 minutes of the show? We looked at some viewer questions. Is that okay? So can we do 20? Are you guys okay with 25 more minutes or no?
Yeah,
I am. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But I just wait.
Hold on. You good with 25 more minutes?
Yeah.
Austin, Dave. Okay. So I want to let everyone know. Hey, again, I'm getting a lot of shit for being, maybe interrupting too much, but I just want to let people. I try to pick my spots, but what matters most is that these two gentlemen spent Saturday evening with me. 3 dudes on a date on Saturday night. We obviously could have been out there slaying puss like incredible chads like we are. But make sure you check out their channels in the description below. Witsit Gets It has obviously a wide variety of content available, as well as Professor Dave. Please support their channels, and please, independently, if they have Patreons or whatever, support them directly. Obviously everyone's pissed that I haven't brought up the ice wall, the edge, or the dome. That's the last thing I want to end on. But I did want to ask you about this video. I'm a big SpaceX guy. I'm a big I'm a big space guy. We're on SpaceX right now.
Bro.
Starlink. I know. Sorry. I know. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's a lot of it's fake, brother. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what people say. So when we watch this, I won't watch it, but right. So this was the space jump, right? We can obviously see the Earth is digitally or not curved, right? This guy, jumps out. This is when I think flat Earth. I've actually, because I watched this video like in real time because I'm a space dork. Keep that in mind when we discuss, not that my opinion matters, it's really the viewers' opinions that matter. And then I'll ask them in 5 minutes. So I want to bring up the conversation. Actually, you know what? Is there something that either one of you, Dave or Austin, that you really want to, like, I fucked up and I didn't talk about it? Because you've already given a bunch of your time. Should we not talk about the ice wall and the edge or the dome?
Well, I think I already addressed that. We can't freely privately explore there. It's highest elevation in the world. Some people think
that's the
that's what it
edge
could
you're
be.
talking about.
You
Yeah.
can all go to the
Well,
South
you can't
Pole.
fall off the edge of a lake or a pond. We don't know what's beyond it. Could there be more land? Sure. Could there be something containing it that touches down? Sure. We literally can't freely and privately explore it. So we don't know. It's kind of like saying, do you fall off the edge of a lake though? Like, no,
Make
Antarctica
sure-
would serve as the shore.
Make
Okay,
sure
well,
you
let
go to
me-
the South Pole with Will. Make sure you get over there.
I definitely,
Yeah.
I'm in. So
Can we address the Felix thing though, since you brought it up?
Go ahead.
Okay. So
He's
Yeah, I
talking
guess-
about the diver, right? The Felix.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So it looks like the Earth is a ball, obviously, an extremely small ball.
He's in
No.
lower Earth orbit here. He's not
No,
like
he's not. He's 180,000 feet up, so that's actually very low. And
said
this
lower
was
Earth
sponsored. Real fast. This was sponsored by GoPro. So this is a GoPro fisheye lens. If you look at the video, the angle from inside the cockpit or whatever you want to call it, you can actually see the horizon's flat. So Neil deGrasse Tyson himself came out and addressed this idea that like people think that Felix was so high that he could see the curvature of the Earth.
That's from the cockpit. That doesn't look flat.
No, that's not. That's from outside, still using the GoPro.
Well, that's
Now, look,
exaggerated.
you can
We
prove-
can admit
you-
that is exaggerated curvature.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause it's on a.
The
it's on a
curvature's still
squish-
there.
Yeah, it's on a squish.
Well, you say
like-
that, okay, but according to even Neil deGrasse Tyson, you would never see the curvature of the Earth from that height because you'd only be 2 millimeters above a typical blown up beach ball or whatever. But
What about that?
the point that's important here is I've heard Dave say, and I don't watch Dave, so I'll be honest with you, bro, but like I listened to a few minutes of it earlier.
You should.
I heard you
should
say
watch
something-
You should watch your debunkers, dude. That's time well spent.
No, I've watched some of his older stuff. Okay. It's all the same stuff, bro. But anyway, so this is the problem.
That's obliterating your position.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Mhm.
with all straw mans. But look, this is
All
what I
straw
want to
man.
point out. Dave said that this guy was in his balloon and it maintained the momentum due to the conservation of momentum with the spin of the Earth. So
Mhm.
when he fell out, he maintained that momentum.
Yeah.
Felix Baumgartner landed like dozens of miles in the opposite direction.
Well, he accelerated though. When you watch this, he did not. I mean, he did not maintain his position, right?
Yeah, but if you're spinning underneath him, why would he fall in the opposite direction?
The opposite direction. What's going on while he's falling? Is there no interaction with the atmosphere? Is there absolutely no change in what's going on?
Well, there's not much atmos up that high. You could say once he got down, he started drifting. If that's what you want to claim, I mean, I actually looked at the weather data. It seemed like there wasn't much wind. I'm pointing out that your claim that he was just following the Earth is patently false. He fell like 40 miles in the wrong direction.
Okay, well, on a
And that
flat
isn't
Earth, you're supposed to
curvature of
really be
Earth.
going straight up and straight down, so it actually obliterates your position. I don't know what you're gloating about here.
What?
I didn't know this
On
was
a
a
flat Earth,
flat
you're
Earth
going
video.
straight up
I
and
didn't know
straight
that.
down. Why would there be any discrepancy in where he lands if it was a flat Earth?
Okay, it wouldn't obliterate my position. We can both agree now it has something to do with wind, and your claim that he was just following with the Earth is ridiculous and stupid.
Yeah,
and
just like satellites.
not true.
Ridiculous and stupid. That's obscene. But I think much more importantly,
That was
and
your claim,
what you absolutely can't explain is why that guy fell down.
oh my gosh.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Oh, the
because
gravity conversation.
Electric
I
gravity.
forgot.
Let's
talk
do
about
electric gravity.
Yeah,
Let's talk about it. Let's.
Yeah,
let's
because
have some fun.
he has weights when he's more dense in the air and he went
What
down.
is weight?
It is mass times gravity. Mass is volume times density times downward acceleration. Gravity is little g, which is just downward acceleration, 9.8
Yeah, due
meters
to
per
the
second
mass
square,
of the
which you
Earth.
falsely claim that we can't derive, but you can do that with a kinematic equation, strictly
No,
a
you can't.
kinematic equation.
Get me
Yes, you can.
9.81 meters per second squared without using the mass of the Earth.
Literally, you can do it with a kinematic equation. It's also been
Literally,
done
I
with
can't see it. Where is it?
yeah, initial height, velocity, and time will give you the same exact 9.8 meter per second value. That's just the effect. Did you know that 9.8 meters per second squared is just the effect? It isn't even like the claimed cause.
What do you mean the claim?
So-
Cause? It's a value. It's an acceleration due to the mass of the Earth. That's why G changes
Right.
with radius, with elevation on different celestial bodies. That's why G is different on the moon. It's different on Mars. You think that's all fake, of course, but yeah. So, very, very simply, you cannot explain why things fall down. You just can't do it.
I can.
No,
Yeah.
you can't.
Everything. It's more dense than the air, and so the question would be,
So,
why is there up and
Why does it go down?
why is it down? That's your
It is
question.
less dense too. The air above it is less dense. Should fall up.
Why is it? What?
The
Dude,
air above an
you're
object.
more dense than the air. It doesn't matter if the air above you is less dense than the air
Well, why
below
does it go down? This air is less dense. In fact, this air is even less dense than this air. Why does it go up?
Okay, why would that mean it goes down?
What do you mean, why would that mean? Because the mass of the Earth is the reason
You
that things
don't-
fall down.
Dude, helium. Why does helium rise?
Because it's less dense than air.
There you go. It's
So
less dense than the other air.
Gravity
Okay,
pulls the air
Okay.
down more than the helium.
That's
It's the
what
same
you
reason
think.
the beach ball goes up in the air, in the water.
you're just reifying your belief, and this is what's even funnier.
Reify.
Well,
How is it
listen, dude.
reification? I'm not doing anything abstract and turning it.
Yeah, because you have a
concrete.
concept. You have a concept of gravity in your mind, and you are attributing concreteness to it, and just assuming it's true by treating the concept as if it's actual.
Because I know that it's exclusively an effect based on mass and not electromagnetism, as you pretend. You absolutely cannot use electromagnetism to explain anything that gravity explains. You can't.
I never said electromagnetism. There's a downward electric current on the Earth. This is actually another falsification of the globe. We have a
electricity
uniform.
and magnetism are not part of the same thing. What do you mean, not electromagnetism?
We have a vertical electric field on the Earth, and it has a 100-volt per meter increase. It's equipotential increase. It's a vertical
dissipates
electric
with
field. It's a vertical electric field, and it's uniform. And so we have 100 volts per meter. Now that's
uniform.
impossible.
It's not
That's
uniform.
impossible. Yeah,
It's not.
Does it increase 100 volts per meter?
No, it dissipates with elevation, which is why Felix can't be falling down due to electromagnetism.
Does it increase 100 volts per meter?
For like 100 meters. And then there's
No,
the
no,
dissipation.
no. Your
Yeah,
model
if you go
claims
way
that
up,
it's up to
the
like 50
electrostatic field goes in
miles.
there. Okay, look, even if whatever
You're
you
so
want to say
wrong
with
about
that,
everything.
why doesn't anything fall up? Austin, why doesn't anything fall up? Electromagnetism is both attractive and repulsive, right? So some things are attracted to the Earth. Why isn't anything repelled from the Earth? Why doesn't it fall up to the other Gaussian surface or whatever you want to talk about? Why doesn't it fall up?
So first of all, radial distribution of a sphere would not allow you to have equipotential parallel surfaces that are 100 volts per meter.
Why does it?
No, I'm finishing my point. Then I'm just letting the audience hear the conclusion of the point.
Let him answer.
So that's the conclusion of the point that Dave previously avoided, which is that radial distribution of a sphere could not replicate what we have on the Earth. But you said, why don't things go up? You mentioned my middle school experiment, or whatever you called it, right? Where I actually made something lift, and I did it with iron filings. I did it with multiple different materials, even insulators. So you said that doesn't count, and I can't make big objects.
Yeah,
I can't make big. Okay.
Hey,
Did you know that physics scales?
The bigger an object is, the more charged particles there are in it, right? So the effect should be greater. Why can't you do it with a rock or a person? Why don't we see anything fall up ever?
Because you would have to increase the amount of, say, electrostatics you introduce proportionate to its weight, which is, again, mass, which is volume times density relative to the pressure mediation of the atmos. Wait. My question is,
yum.
Dude, what did I say that was word salad?
All of it. You're just saying words.
All of it.
I'm asking you why things don't fall up. In a field, particles of opposite charges are accelerated in opposite directions, right? So why can't you make anything fall up? Why doesn't anything on the Earth fall up? It's a very simple question.
I'm trying to explain it.
A lot of people fail up. I'm just saying.
Fail.
Yeah. I'm trying to make it's really a simple concept. So when you have something that has weight, that's volume times density. Okay, that's mass, and then volume times density times acceleration. Little g is just downward acceleration, just an effect. So whenever that's the case, that pressure mediates
acceleration due to gravity.
That's what you guys believe. That's what he thinks. Okay, little g is just the effect. It isn't exclusive to any belief. Okay. Well, everyone keeps invoking little g as if it's proof of, I guess, the bending and warping of space and time or whatever.
Well, we don't even have to go with electricity. Or
I know you can't go that route. Trust me. We know.
Well, no, you can. Relativity is one of the most corroborated theories in the history of science, but it doesn't matter.
No, it's not.
You can just use Newton. Well, it is.
It was falsified in 1933. Fritz Zwicky was off by 99%.
Definitely was never
falsified. Let me ask this question, dude. It's a simple
Yeah.
question. You said that my experiment doesn't do anything. In reality, what I did was manipulate the electric field, and then it caused the objects to go up, even though that they were heavier than the air.
What you did was apply an enormous electric field to overwhelm the effects of gravity. You took a different force, electromagnetism, to overwhelm gravity for a teeny tiny little object, Once
Can you let me
again,
finish?
what I just said, a very massive object, a lot of matter, has more charged particles. In my body, there are many, many more charged particles than a tiny piece of styrofoam.
What
should
about-
the effect be greater? Can't we accelerate up? Can't we levitate? Can't we fly? Why not?
If we're
I just have a simple question. You won't let me get it out because you know you won't.
I
Answer.
just answered it.
Ask the question then. Ask the question.
Okay, I've tried like 3 times.
Ask it.
It's
Yeah.
simple. You're saying that doesn't count because I can't do it with bigger objects.
Yeah.
Do you know that physics scales?
Yeah, so a larger object, more charged particles, the effect should be greater. Why doesn't
So
anything
you
fall
agree
up?
though that if I do the same principle on a bigger scale, if I increase the force proportionate to the object, I would be able to make things go up. And
Yeah,
your
but-
claim that you can't do it with bigger objects is completely ridiculous,
So
non
you would be
sequitur. and
countering
holds no weight.
gravity. You would be countering gravity. I'm
You just
talking about
reifying
out
gravity
here.
again.
Stop saying reification. Do you have any idea how dumb you sound when you say
Hold on, hold
reification?
on.
over
Hey,
here?
come on now, come on.
Okay,
We-
okay.
You're just begging the question over and over, dude.
all
You're
right,
just saying, I promise.
Hold on, fellas. We're
Listen.
we're bringing it home.
You can only do this with a Van der Graaf generator because you are applying an external field to overwhelm gravity. You're saying that out there in the world, it's all electrostatic. So we shouldn't need a Van der Graaf generator. Out there in the world, where this is an electromagnetic effect, and we know that electromagnetism is both attractive and repulsive. Out there in the world, why doesn't anything fall up ever?
Okay. First of all, depending on the environment, say like your hair will stick up during thunderstorms. Bumblebees literally do something called non-contact pollen detachment. They fly over top of the flowers and the
Spiders.
pollen levitates. Literally, there is naturally occurring phenomena that's based on the electric field of the earth. You're saying we're adding an external force? No, we're manipulating the force that's already. Let me finish. We're manipulating the force that's already there. I didn't add anything. Everything that exists is electrostatic, right? Which on the smallest scale is
No.
10 to 36 power stronger than your belief in gravity. And all molecular and intermolecular attractive forces are electrostatic. That means all objects that exist are held
Yeah.
together by that. So you're acting like I'm adding something that wasn't there.
That.
No, I'm just manipulating what was there. Now you do the same thing with your belief in gravity. Isolate gravity and prove it's true.
Yeah, things only fall down. That's it.
Well,
I'm asking you why
can't be
things don't fall
serious.
up. All you're doing is citing, a bumblebee does something. These are all teeny tiny objects where electrostatics can overwhelm the effect of gravity. Why doesn't a rock fall up, or a person, or a car, or anything ever?
let me ask this.
Because the pressure mediated by the density relationship and the weight makes it go down. It's very simple.
Okay. I feel like you
Those
both.
sure were words.
Okay. So,
Dude, that's pretty bad look.
well, hold
Yes,
on.
it is a bad look for you.
All
I
right,
agree.
hold on, gentlemen. What I want to say is that you both have been extremely well behaved and entertaining, and I want to let the viewers, of which there are many thousands, get in if for a few minutes. But do I dare bring up Cavendish? Do I dare bring up, because that is a point of contention, right? Of that matter attracts matter, right? That disproves gravity, right? Like I'm a very large fat man, very attractive young, but not young. Why did I say young? That's creepy. Very attractive thin women are often attracted to me. But the let's actually not go down that. Let's not go down that road. It's probably too complicated. I want to let people.
Yeah, because everything's electrostatic. It's way stronger than gravity's claimed to be.
Yeah,
yeah,
but they shield for electrostatics.
If you have a lot of questions like that, it's like, we can have a conversation in the future, man, whether it's streamed or not.
It's maybe
but
down the rabbit hole too far.
I just want to, this is the only thing that I really want to know, Dave, before we move on, bro. Like,
all right, go ahead.
you said you didn't think the numbers were correct, whatever, you dismissed it. Then you said maybe there's some type of atmospheric effect. Do you agree, though, that refraction is the bending of light, which means that a silhouette can't be refracted because it is the absence of light?
What?
Can a silhouette be refracted?
If you're seeing something, there's light traveling to your eyes. So
Sure, but
there's
the
gonna be
mountains-
refraction there.
the mountain should be below the curve of the earth, right? But we're seeing the silhouette once it gets backlit, which means you need a line of sight to the physical object blocking the light.
I don't know, man.
So we
You're
falsified the
doing.
book.
I saw a thing. Therefore, everything we know about physics and science in general is wrong. It's just not going to fly. I'm
Dave
sorry.
concedes defeat. You heard it here first.
Okay,
He
great.
conceded the Earth is flat. Everybody knows now. Dave can see it.
It's so easy to go against flat earthers. Just dismiss all the uncomfortable evidence
No
and ask about
It's not
things
uncomfortable evidence. You just make up bullshit.
like just ask about random things that we were taught when we were 5. Like, well, then how does this work? And like, whatever. I mean, if
I
you
ask you
think that's
very
how it
simple
works.
things like why does the night sky rotate in opposite directions in opposite hemispheres? You have yet to answer that. You have
Answered
yet
it
to
directly.
Okay, go ahead.
You
Repeat
said
that.
if you
Repeat
look
your
a
answer.
different
I
way,
did.
it'll rotate a different way. That's just
No,
odd
I
word.
said first of all,
Odd
it's,
word.
you have to verify cardinal direction, which when we go to the south, we actually use immense magnetic declination corrections, which could be skewing where you
I'm
think you're
saying
viewing.
looking
That's
at
just
the
a
celestial pole.
just
with your
a
eyeball.
fact.
Looking
Let
at
him
the
finish.
celestial
Let him
pole with your
finish, Dave.
eyeball.
Let him finish.
just a fact.
Yeah, but
And
he's
then
just scalping. It's just word salad. He's just saying words to deflect.
dude,
from
dude,
the thing
stop
that he's
using the
saying.
term word salad. You don't know what
What?
it means.
It means you're just saying words that aren't saying anything, which is what you're doing. That's what it means, and that's what you do. Right?
But you can never give specific examples of when I did it.
Just now, what you just did. I'm asking.
I said
looking at the
that
celestial
magnetic
sphere,
declination
what does that have to
in
do
the
with it?
south. What?
What does it have to do with what I'm asking you?
You have to determine your cardinal direction. And then the second part is
No,
because
you don't.
magnetic declination corrections are immense in the south.
You're confused
That
about
makes
what I'm
it very
asking you.
difficult
This
to
isn't this
verify
Southern
cardinal
Cross and three
direction.
directions thing. I'm asking you about rotating counterclockwise versus clockwise. You have yet to answer that.
He's going all the
Okay,
way
you need to
back.
determine.
Just so the viewers know, hold on. You guys are both being really great, by the way. Like, you're being very respectful, and I appreciate that. Dave, I believe, is going back to his literal.
The first thing I said.
The very first thing you said. Yeah, the globe.
This is all recorded. I tried to answer it the first time he asked it. You
No, well,
interrupted
it's all
7
recorded.
times. I've
You
answered
said
it 3
if I
times.
look in a different direction, it'll magically spin the other way. That's not how things work.
no,
If you
I
put a clock
said
on the ceiling, it's
specific-
going to go clockwise no matter which way you face. Sorry,
I
buddy.
said that we see this does require usually some visualizations to understand it. We see in a little dome. It's called an azimuthal grid. You can go to Stellarium. That's how we map the stars. We have a zenith position, an azimuth position, and we measure elevation angles. When you do that 360, it gives you a dome. That's how we view the sky. NASA themselves have articles talking about how we see the sky to be a dome. We have an equidistant limit of vision. It's like a little dome. If you were to replicate that with a bunch of spinning stars and you looked out towards the edge of this dome, it's going to make them look like they're converging and spinning around the central point, even though they're literally not doing that. We have replicated
How does
it.
it spin the other
Therefore,
way
we
in the
would
other
expect to see it just like crepuscular and anti-crepuscular rays. When the sun's setting in the west, it'll look like it's in the east at the same time, and the rays will converge to a point, even though it's just based on perspective.
Okay.
That isn't objectively a viable answer for the star
It
trust.
is not a viable answer. You're just saying words like crepuscular and perspective to appease flat earthers who have no idea what you're talking about, because you cannot answer how things rotate counterclockwise in one hemisphere and clockwise in the other.
You know what
Which,
anti-crepuscular rays
again,
are?
is explained perfectly by this model. It turns.
You know what
this way,
anti-crepuscular rays
and
are?
that's- Well, what? Tell me what they are. Go ahead.
So you called it word salad, but it's just that you don't understand the terms.
It doesn't
Okay,
matter,
so-
but you're just taking it's a jumble of words. It's not that each word doesn't mean something. It's not just literal gibberish and syllables. You're taking words that are words and putting them together to make a salad, like your lettuce and your croutons and your things like that. That's why I tell you of yum yum word salad. You cannot explain what is can you concede that this makes perfect sense visually, intuitively, just spatially? Can you at least concede that this makes more
already did.
sense than what you're saying?
No. I mean, I would say that if it is exactly south, yeah, of course, that's what the globe predicts. But we
So
made the globe model.
You're admitting that the globe Earth explanation for the way we see stars moving in the sky makes more sense than
No,
everything you just said using random buzzwords that you.
no, I didn't say that. But this
Well,
is the point I
everyone
want to
watching, I
make here
think, can
too.
tell.
Look, Dave had to deny that the default position is that the Earth's a stationary plane.
It's not the default.
That is a
position.
fact. That
No,
is
it's
literally
not
a fact. So
That's just a thing you say.
wait. Whenever we fly a plane, do we treat the Earth like it's flat?
It doesn't matter. We're just flying.
Oh.
We're not talking about the shape
Well,
of the
okay,
Earth.
hold on,
We're just
hold on.
traveling.
If
So it's a default
if that's
position.
true, hold on, Austin. If that's true, as the debunkers point out, when you fly on the southern hemisphere, or why do planes take direct routes as opposed to following the flat Earth map? Because it takes the same time to fly from Australia I think that. What is the example you used, Dave?
Sydney to Santiago
Sydney
over the
to Santiago.
Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do this one because we didn't get to it.
What?
Yeah, it's always obfuscation away from the point that the
Well, he
actual
asked the
physical
question.
flying of the plane
We're not
requires
getting,
a flat
getting
stationary.
anywhere. So he asked the question. I'm just going with him.
I know. I just think it's
asking.
funny. I just think it's funny.
All right.
Okay,
All right,
but
well-
yeah, I know all the debunks. They're not debunks. Are with me sitting in this chair right now.
They
So
are. You can't
no,
explain. that
okay, I'll
flight.
just
You
go ahead
can't
and explain it. So
Santiago
if you
to me.
say you fly from Sydney to Santiago, one direction actually takes significantly longer than the other return flight.
How much?
Then
It
if you
doesn't though. It doesn't.
it
Half
it
an
it
hour.
objectively does.
Have headwinds back way. It's like 30 minutes. That's all.
No, there are flights that are up to 3-hour difference. So
No.
okay, that's a
Now when I
fact.
looked it up.
Now, everyone can verify everything I'm saying, and you can
Yeah,
go to 24-hour flight radar
Why would it
and look at the
matter?
data.
It's not
You can go to
possible.
24-hour flight radar, look at the data. What you'll see is it says the plane's going, say, 550 miles per hour, right? On the globe, obviously, you just have a similar distance both ways. But if the time is different, they're obviously not going the same speed. So what that proves, right, because speed equals distance over time. So what that proves is that the data we're being given about how fast that plane goes is wrong. You can Google plane goes 800 miles per hour, and there will be articles talking about planes catching
800
jet
ain't gonna
streams.
cut it. You're going to need
Wait,
like
wait,
2,000 miles an hour.
Okay, but planes can't. No, you don't.
Sure
That's
you do.
ridiculous. You guys.
That
Let's see.
distance is like triple or quadruple the distance that makes sense for the amount of time it takes. So are you
No.
going to pretend that there's some that crazy wind or personal tornado that makes it fly quadruple the speed to get it over
Or the
there?
hurricane.
And also, why doesn't it go the route that makes sense on the flat Earth? Why doesn't
Well,
it go
let me-
that
Okay,
way?
first, if you assume the Earth's a globe with a projection, that doesn't prove the Earth's a globe, and it doesn't. So you're asking me, are
How
the
does the flight
pilots
work?
in on it? No, the pilots aren't in on it. I know tons of flat Earth pilots. They weren't. They thought the Earth was a globe most of their
flat
career.
Earth pilots. That's a lie.
Well,
See, this
okay,
is what I'm
hold on,
saying.
let
You
me-
have to lie about stuff like that,
You're
dude.
the one
It's so
lying.
weird.
There's no flat Earth pilots. Ask any pilot if the Earth is
My-
flat. They'll laugh in your face.
I
wife-
know
They all
My
take great
multiple.
circle routes. They take great circle routes
My-
that are.
Can a
based
circle
on
exist on a flat Earth?
My wife is a pilot.
No, a great
My wife-
circle.
Does anybody want to talk to me? My wife's a pilot.
Yeah.
What does she think? Bring her in.
She does.
Dude, I have an Air Force pilot that reached out to me
I
of
saw-
30
I saw,
years.
yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
fact.
Cool. I
the-
bet that's true. Totally.
I don't want to.
See what I'm saying? You have to deny basic reality.
Why?
um,
Why is it so crazy to think that you could be making that up on the spot?
But
Why
what's
is
what I'm
it-
saying? How-
Hold on a second. Either I let these guys go at it for 10 more minutes, or we answer viewer questions.
I feel like we've gone good time.
I feel like
Let's
we're
do it.
there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're there.
I
So
got
I
stuff
want
to
to pick
do.
a few of these. I'll stick around live for a few minutes after I let these guys go. I want to just like give a digital. I mean, I don't care what side you're on. Thank you both for being here and for being so passionate and being so engaged, and being just great. Obviously people are going to think whatever they want to think, but I hope people are entertained. There are many not many tens of thousands, but there's over 15,000 people watching. So a lot of people are entertained on a Saturday night, and they could have been watching some garbage. So this is obviously much better. I will read them all after I let these gentlemen get on with their Saturday nights, but I wanted to pick some that I thought.
Can we do like a 6-second closing or something at some point?
Absolutely. I'll do a 2-minute, and then because you guys should we coin flip for who goes last? It's like a criminal trial, right? So generally the prosecution goes last. But I'll just say
I'm indifferent.
okay. Well, then we'll let Dave go first. Someone says, make Dave define one thing in detail that Austin has said is word salad. Well, he did that. I think he did do that.
No, we didn't.
It's not that he's using words that aren't real. It's that he's stringing together words in a way that isn't saying anything. It's just
Give an
using
example.
Scientific terminology. I can't
Give an
remember
example.
if he didn't say anything, so it doesn't really stick.
Yeah.
Right.
The
When I'm
definition of
trying-
word salad is incoherent rambling,
Yeah.
typically associated with schizophrenia. So if I was saying,
You don't have
yo,
to be
chicken,
schizophrenic
yesterday,
to do it.
sunset, okay, whatever, dude. The fact you didn't understand the terms like anticorpuscular rays and anisotropic and magnetic declination doesn't make it word salad. It means you
I
need to
know.
go inform yourself what the words mean.
I'm saying that those words don't pertain to any kind of explanation for what I was talking about. Magnetic declination isn't going to explain away looking at an object in the sky, seeing that it rotates a particular direction, going to the other hemisphere and seeing that it rotates in the other direction.
Now
Not
you're
gonna get
trying to
anywhere with
rebut my
magnetic
argument.
declination.
You're trying to rebut my argument, but that doesn't
You string it
mean
together
to do
with a bunch
that.
of other
Don't
words.
just dismiss the argument as word salad. It's basically vocalizing inept vocabulary skills and bragging about it. It's super weird.
It's pointing out that you use a bunch of terminology rapid fire to make it sound like you know what you're talking about, to trick people into thinking that you know what you're talking about.
Somebody
That's
said
what word
somebody
salad-
said this. I have a challenge for both Dave and Austin. Using your preferred method, model the Earth universe derived to the 9.8 meters per second. It's indisputable that falling objects accelerate towards the ground at that acceleration. Gravity is true. I'm a physics guy. So I think I don't want to like every question somebody asks, I don't want to like devolve into like a 20-minute, but I think Dave would say gravity and Witsit would say density, right? Like,
Yeah,
but the
Everything's
9.8
intrinsically-
meters
That, of
per second is consistent. It doesn't
But
matter if
the
it's a bowling ball
point
or
is
Well,
that
yeah,
it's
it's-
derived from Newton's law of universal gravitation, and you need the mass of the Earth in there. If gravity was electromagnetism, the mass of the Earth wouldn't be a factor. And
Okay. Okay, well, you can get it from electrostatics. If you look at Gauss's law,
No,
there's
you
only it's a very similar relationship. But what's funny is it actually doesn't always fall at 9.8 meters per second squared. That is an agreed upon average.
It
It's
does in a
close to that.
vacuum.
It's
That's
close
in
to
a
that.
vacuum.
No, in a vacuum it changes. There's something called gravimeter measurements, which is a vacuum sealed chamber with interferometry measuring a BB fall, and it'll fluctuate above 9.81. Right
Of
now it's
course.
decimal points, but the point is
Okay.
that it fluctuates at specific times when the electric field changes, even inside of a vacuum sealed chamber. So yeah, to claim it doesn't have anything to do with electric field is insane. Prove that it's space-time bending and warping, or we're winning because we can physically prove it's electric. So until you can prove another claim, you don't have the upper edge at all. It's
Oh, I
actually
have
the other
some-
way
okay,
around.
hold
You
on.
do,
Let
because
Dave,
you
let
can-
Dave reply. Let Dave reply.
You
Yeah.
cannot do anything with electromagnetism to demonstrate this. You cannot take objects of differing properties, paramagnetic, diamagnetic, ferromagnetic. Why does it not matter at all what the composition of an object is? It all falls 9.81 meters per second squared, not as the average, right? I know it varies depending on altitude and radius of the Earth where you are locally, but you cannot demonstrate any discrepancy. Take any object, a bar magnet, a iron, ferromagnetic iron, anything. Show me that it does anything different than what anything else does that's neutral. Wouldn't it interact with the field in a different way?
Actually, it's a drop tower test that was done in Europe at I believe a university, and they show different elements falling at different rates. And so this is the truth, though, that the electric field that creates a downward electric current of 10 microamps per meter. So it's very small and it's very nearly constant. So we don't expect the downward pressure to change much. That's a real verifiable part of physics. I can go out and measure it and manipulate it and make things float. Can you prove that space-time is bending and
No,
warping?
I'm
Of course
responding
not.
to what you
You
said.
can just assume. it.
No, you absolutely can. Relativity is very well corroborated, but
No, it's not.
you have absolutely zero ability, right? Opposite charges accelerate in opposite directions in an electric field, right? So why again does nothing fall up?
Okay, because when the object is more dense, density is the compactness of matter. So what holds the matter together? It's electrostatic charges that gives it a compactness. Literally, all molecular and intermolecular attractive forces are electrostatic in nature. And if you call that word salad, that's
Less
insane
dense
because
here,
that's just a
less
direct
dense
quote.
here. No, it is word salad because you're not answering the question. You're
It's a
just
direct
using
quote from
random
Purdue
terms.
University,
You're just-
dude.
Purdue? What?
I just quoted Purdue verbatim. So this is the problem with listening
Yes.
to people like this guy. They're just going to dismiss it as word salad. You can't have an intellectually honest conversation.
You're just
the point is that
gushing. It's just random. It's just random words. You just said density. I'm
All right,
asking
bro.
you why nothing falls up, and you answered density. Air is less dense here. Air is less dense here. In fact, this air is less dense than this air because it becomes
So?
less dense with elevation. Why does it fall down? Why does
it's still
everything
less
fall down?
dense in
Why
the
does
object in
everything
all
the world fall down?
scenarios, Dave. Do you not know that? Even in a vacuum, it's still more dense than the environment or the medium, right? It doesn't
Right.
matter if it's a little bit less
And in a
dense, the
vacuum,
object's
it
still
falls
more dense.
down because the mass of the Earth is below it. So why doesn't anything accelerate upwards? Why doesn't anything fly to the other Gaussian surface? Why isn't anything repelled by the Earth?
Because
instead of
there's a
attracted?
downward
Because
electric
it's not
current.
electromagnetism.
There's a
Why
downward
can't you
electric
flip the current? Why? What about a lightning strike? where
because you can't
everything
manipulate the
reverses
entire
polarity?
Earth.
When the
bro.
lightning strikes, does something there suddenly fly up to the cloud? There's a reversal of polarity there. Why
Okay.
is it that you can't get anything to fall up?
Okay, you cannot flip the entire electric field of the Earth. Now,
Not
for it to be
Earth,
analogous
locally,
to
right there, right under the lightning bolt, something can fly up. No?
All right, here's what I'm going to do. I know that it's late. I'm going to give you both first of all, a huge round of applause. Please, everyone in chat who's currently, the chat is just as hinged as I thought it would be.
Wait, hinged or unhinged?
I mean, I unhinged. Yeah.
Unhinged, yeah, I would assume.
But I really, really appreciate both of you being on.
Oh my
This is
God.
incredible, super entertaining. Everyone in chat, I don't care who you agree with or disagree with. Please give, check out these individuals' particular YouTube channels. I assume both of them will use this footage and make more content. Watch that. And I want to give you guys both, what do you think? 3 minutes to go off.
So I was letting it play out just because I was talking a lot during the beginning. So my apologies for that, because it's taken away from the arguments. Austin did an incredible job as always, and he was met obviously with a lot of difficulty, not only with Not a Real Professor Dave, but also with the moderator, and yeah. So just I guess a bit of a better grip would have been. But anyways, they're just showing how weak their arguments are. Not a Real Professor Dave has not shown any science. He's shown no mathematics. He's shown no proof of his alleged model. He's done nothing but do things like appeal to emotion, appeal to majority. Anyways, insulting and as per. And so I still have to give a link to Austin's page, but I hope he gets on the Joe Rogan show. I really do. He was on InfoWars. He did a great job, but he's always met with people that again they don't bring any actual evidence, and nor do they understand either model or any of the models that they that are brought forth. But they anyways, it's just the attitude that's brought along with it, and the fact that he is again very popular on YouTube. Stuff from my channel and Austin's channel and Jaren's channel and Dave Weiss's channel and Mark Sargent's and Eric Dubé's always downgraded, and like Austin was saying earlier, it's even been proven in Congress. They've admitted that they downgrade any kind of flat Earth content because they believe it is an old archaic model, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of my YouTube videos always have that attached to the bottom as a warning about my videos, despite the fact that it's not a globe. Anyway.
Hold on.
I mean, I need like 30 seconds. I don't need it.
Okay, all right. 2 minutes to go out on. And since I think Dave, you went first, leading in, we'll let Austin go first, leading out. But I want you both guys to know I'll have you back on any time you want. This was a blast for me. Like I know that chat, I know they enjoyed it. Obviously, both of you hope to educate people, but for me, I'm a loser entertainer, and I know everyone was entertained. So if everyone had a good time, please support whoever side you want. And I will read everybody's chats after I let these guys off the hook because they've got more important shit to do. So Austin, I will give you the floor. I will shut off my camera and give you 2 uninterrupted minutes. Plug whatever you want. Let people know where to find you. Watch your content, and then we'll go to Dave, and then I will stay on and respond to all the other stuff. If that's okay with you guys. Does that sound okay?
Yep, sure.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'll actually time it. So the default position is that the Earth's a stationary planet. It's what we all experience. Could, in theory, the Earth be a spinning globe? Sure. Whenever you point at the sky and say, look, it matches the globe, it's very ignorant because we made the globe model from the sky. We took observations and reverse engineered the way that we see the sky and assumed the Earth's a sphere. Of course it matches. That's how we made it. And it didn't match for hundreds of years. It had to constantly be updated, still being updated. Relativity is the most verified theory ever. Isn't true at all. 1933, Fritz Zwicky saw the galaxy cluster only had 1% of the mass it needed to actually keep the galaxies from escaping. That means it was missing 99% mass. That's called dark matter. It was originally called missing mass. It's still a major problem. Relativity can't even predict things on the quantum, local, or cosmological scale. It's been falsified with things such as anisotropic light propagation, meaning light's actually a variant, it changes, etc. So a lot of these things are a bit more complex. I encourage people to go actually look at my channel or Ether Cosmology and listen to us break down Einstein's papers, and you can hear him say it it. Look at the tests that falsify this stuff. But this is the part that's very important. Falsifications independent of replacement. We were all told that the Earth's a spinning globe. It's very easy to mock and ridicule people that are much more informed and diligently research and actually go out and do tests in real life than actually look into it for yourself. I get it, but just calling them names, appealing to consensus, or whatever, doesn't matter. This is a crazy conversation, and actually, what we have proven for step one is that the Earth is stationary, and that's been done with interferometry. And so even Einstein admitted that if the interferometry measurements were correct, that his entire theory is wrong and the Earth is stationary, effectively being the implication. We have verified that the interferometry changes with altitude, periodicity, etc. Long story short, it has been proven that the Earth is stationary. It is therefore in the center of the universe. All observations ever showed that. The globe claims everything is actually an illusion. It just looks like the Earth's in the center. It looks like the Earth is flat, but it's really not. Everything is just an illusion. So I encourage you to inform yourself about it, because you can't really be confident in your position until you actually know what your position is. And the vast majority of people don't even understand the globe model. So they actually don't know what they believe in. So that's really the only reason I do this, is to encourage people to at least inform themselves about what they believe before they're so confident in it.
Thanks, Austin. Thanks so much, dude. Dave, lead us out. I'll stay on live after Dave's final here, but yeah, thank you both for coming on.
Cool. No, he's absolutely wrong. The default position is that the Earth is a sphere, and as predicted, he chose to obfuscate by going to relativity and Einstein and all these things, which are not helpful. Since antiquity, we've known that the Earth is a sphere. All observations demand that the Earth is a sphere. He was absolutely incapable of answering this. He just did a thing about, if you look in a different direction, it's going to spin the other way. Doesn't make any sense. Was totally unable to explain this.
I don't know if this is Dave, but this is Down the Rabbit Hole. Great channel I've been following for a long time. I've shared videos for sure. Yeah, hi Don. Interesting how phony Not a Real Professor Dave is not putting this video on his channel. I wouldn't either if I was him, to be honest with you. I was saying this earlier, but doesn't he? Well, he's already admitted that he has paid people to create his content and make his videos.
Magnetic declination. Again, these positions are nowhere near the magnetic pole, and so the idea that they could just suddenly all be looking in the same direction because magnetic declination. I'm sorry, David Weiss. I'm sorry, Austin. This is not sufficient explanation. Day and night regions of illumination. All we got was a little toddler, shine a light on a thing where there's supposed to be a dome, even though there's not actually any dome, and the sun's going to be outside, or is it going to be inside? Doesn't make any sense either. South Pole, come back to that again, day and night. Southern Hemisphere, we did not get to any adequate explanation of how this route is possible. He just said, they go really fast. I don't remember what he said, some wind or something. And we definitely have absolutely no explanation for this Antarctica Cup ocean race. These boats are not going all the way the entire world, turning the opposite direction of where they are actually turning. So I think that was pretty fun. I think we managed to stay away for the most part from the esoteric aspects of modern physics that Austin likes to spew his word salads about. And we stuck for the most part to things like gravity and things falling. So it was somewhat productive, but I do look forward to Austin going to the South Pole.
Hell yeah. I'll go with you, bud.
Seeing the 24-hour sun, and then I can't wait to see his video saying, I now believe it's a sphere, and then we can be rid of this idiotic flat Earth disease forever, hopefully. Maybe in 1,000 years it'll come back somehow. I don't know.
Gentlemen, you both killed it. You're both incredibly entertaining.
Austin did.
Very respectful and well prepared. And I want to thank you for coming on. And I want to remind everyone in chat, serious? Please do, I don't care whose quote unquote side you picked. Check out both of their channels. Both are linked in the description. I think it's good to take in both sides of whatever conversation is going on. Fellas, thank you so much for coming on. I will wrap it up with chat here too, and follow and let them know what's going on. You obviously can reach out to me anytime. Use this content how you see fit, and have an incredible weekend, both of you, please.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for hosting it, man. Much love.
Oh yeah, it was a blast. Thank you. Okay, it's me. I'll be right back. We're going to give me like 60 seconds, and we're going to go over a recap.
Yeah, I'm not going to go over the recap, to be honest with you. I will show you while it's come up. So this is Down on the Rabbit Hole. already subscribed. A lot of great videos you're not going to find if you just do a simple search on YouTube or on Google. And I suggest getting a VPN and connecting from different countries. And you'll see that there's drastic censorship in various countries and for different reasons and different words. Anyway, a lot of really interesting videos. And yeah, there's just so much. A lot of shadow banning. That's for sure. Great videos. And you've got the flat. So you got this one as well, Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Again, I'm not paid to share any of this information. I just share it because this is really good content that you're not going to find on a search on your own unless you know exactly what to search for. And even then, I was looking for videos yesterday, even from Jaren's page, and I was having difficulty finding it. And so the Hibbler Productions also has really amazing content. And Old World Order just came out not too long ago, and I have watched it. It's great. And so in different languages, it looks like as well. Yeah, great content. And then, yeah, of course, Mark. And he's known as Mark K. Sargent. And he's been at this for a very long time. He's one of the originals to push this content on YouTube. And of course, Eric Dubé, whose information and content I fell upon first when I was specifically looking for this stuff. And he has great videos as well. Anyway, so that's if you actually want good content. And on that note, I will leave it at that. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of your day.